I keep going back to Sri Lanka. 3 trips through the lush jungles, pounding ocean, and rugged mountains. 3 trips to experience the intense tradition, rich history, and diverse culture. 3 trips to taste the freshest seafood, flavorful curries, and mouth-watering street foods. I keep going back to Sri Lanka because this country has it all. I've spent over 100 hours filming around the pearl of the Indian Ocean to now present you the most in-depth food and travel documentary of Sri Lanka. We start our food tour in the biggest city of Ceylon, Colombo, for a street food tour like you've never seen before.
So this is literally our first stop in Sri Lanka, and it is definitely jumping right into things because this market is crazy. Lots of friendly people, tons of seafood. Of course, we're on an island, so Sri Lanka is famous for their seafood. All kinds of different types. This market is huge and very, very busy. We got here about 6 a.m. and it is just bustling with locals. Really cool place to walk around in the morning and very friendly people. Hello. So something very common at this market is people carrying the buckets on top of their head, transporting the fish, really heavy loads, and man, I'm just blown away. There are a lot of types of fish, but one particular fish that is really common here is swordfish. So they're actually dragging the swordfish around with big gaffs, hooks, and dragging them along. But it's not only swordfish here, there's everything. The fish sold at this market is not only for Colombo, they are selling them around the island. So this is actually the largest fish market here in Sri Lanka, and it's wholesale, like I said. So these fish are just being shipped all across the island. Lots of friendly people, everyone's interested in the camera. There are some huge fish here, like that tuna right there. He was trying to see if he could pick it up, not even close. I wouldn't be surprised if that fish is hundreds and hundreds of pounds. This place is the real deal. I love coming to places like this, full of locals, only locals, no tourists here, and the real way of life for many Sri Lankans. Just such an authentic experience, really cool. So we actually haven't eaten anything for breakfast, and the smell of the fish is getting a little bit strong, so I think we're gonna leave now, head to go get something to eat. We are at the breakfast restaurant now, really small place, very local feeling, and they're making some fresh egg roti. So I think we're gonna have a couple things, but this is definitely not our only spot for breakfast today. Super excited to be sitting down for my first Sri Lankan meal, and we have some typical Sri Lankan breakfast. So here is milk rice. This is made with coconut milk, steamed and then served with luna miris, which is a sambal of onions and chili, probably pretty spicy, and some lime juice. Back here we have the classic egg roti, which we saw him making outside, just an egg cracked inside of a very thin bread and then fried. And then we have 2 types of curry, which looks so good. This one here is a fish curry, spicy, and then this one over here is a dried fish curry and not so spicy. So first of all, I'm gonna try this. I haven't even heard of this dish prior to coming to Sri Lanka, so I'm excited to try it out and see what the flavor is. And let me grab a little bit of sambal and let's try some of that. Oh man, that sambal is awesome. That rice, you can taste the rich coconut milk flavor. It is really good, and it's actually quite a dense rice. Then the sambal has some raw onions in it, raw chilies. It is definitely quite spicy, very spicy actually. Okay, let me try this egg roti next, dip it in one of these curries. Maybe I'll start with the fish curry, the spicy version. That one's not nearly as spicy as the sambal, but there's definitely a heat kick and a little bit of a seafood flavor. Let me try this other one though, which is made with the dried fish. I'm expecting it to be a little bit more seafoody flavored than the other. Oh yeah, actually that has a very strong dried fish flavor. Still very good. And you can taste coconut in there too. This one is definitely my favorite, and it's a lot lighter or watery than I expected, but still very flavorful. Really good with the egg roti. And this is such a unique texture to it. The roti, it's very stretchy and almost chewy. And I was just told that I should pour a little bit of curry on top here. Oh man, I'm in heaven. This stuff is really good. It is quite spicy. And I actually think I have a chili on my nose. It's kind of stinging. I don't know how it got there, but I don't mind because the food is so good. Very good food, very cool restaurant too. The atmosphere in here is local. It's just a tiny little shop on the side of the road and serving some really traditional Sri Lankan food. So we are stopping now just outside the restaurant for a herbal drink. I'm interested to see what this tastes like. I don't really know what to expect.
Which is called curry leaf.
So we have our concoction of herbal drink. You can see here it's quite thick and it's actually served piping hot. So it's actually half curry leaf juice and half of another local herb called mukwena. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think we'll see it later at the market, but let me try it. Oh, yum. It's actually more of like a soup. It kind of reminds me of a French onion soup, really. The curry flavor isn't as strong as I thought, and they recommended that I chase it with a little bite of jaggery. Jaggery is like an unrefined palm sugar. Very sweet. Yeah, really, really sweet. So we have one more stop for breakfast today. There's another thing I really wanted to try. It's called string hopper, so we're actually heading to another restaurant to try that.
Let's take over.
Oh. Pepper?
Yeah, pepper.
At the next restaurant, this place is much larger than the last one, very airy, and we are having two things in particular, and that is the idiapa and the apa, or egg hopper and string hopper. So really excited to try those. Oh. It smells good. There's a huge pot of curry in here that they are cooking in the back kitchen, and apparently he's gonna let me try it. I'm a little bit worried it's hot. Just like this?
No. This.
Oh, is it hot?
Yeah, hot, low, normal hot.
Okay. Oh. Oh yeah. Wow. You can taste a little spicy.
No, it's spicy.
Brinjal?
Yeah, brinjal.
Brinjal.
Yeah.
Oh, brinjal. So this is eggplant. So I was just invited into the back kitchen, sampled some of the curries that they're making back there, especially one, the brinjal, which you saw me try there. That was eggplant curry. A little bit spicy and very hot. Nice and soft eggplant though, really good. Food has arrived. The first one, as I mentioned, the egg hopper you can see here. Crispy outer shell and then that nice fried egg in the middle. Looks like he actually broke the yolk up and mixed it around. Over here is a type of curry. This is another fish curry, white fish curry. And then back here is something that I'm super excited to try. It's called pulled sambal, which is a coconut sambal. Coconut grated, mixed with chilies and a couple other ingredients. Back here, once again, something I'm looking forward to trying big time is the string hoppers, the idiapa. And very interesting little dish. I've never seen anything in another country quite like this. So it looks like noodles. It's actually made with fermented rice flour and it's meant to be eaten with the curry. So I'm actually gonna take one of these, put it on my plate here, and I'm gonna definitely mix some of this curry in with the string hopper. So I'll pour a little bit of curry right on top like this. Oh man, he told me that I should have a lot of curry because it might be hard to eat. And then a little bit of the whole sambal, not too much because it's supposed to be pretty spicy. Oh man, let me try that. That looks absolutely incredible. Oh yeah. Wow, that string hopper does an incredible job at retaining all of that curry. It really soaks it in, becomes extremely saturated. The curry itself is not spicy, very rich with the coconut milk flavor once again. And then that pol sambal is so good. It's got a very kind of exotic, tropical taste to it from that coconut and a tinge of heat from those chili flakes. So let me try this next, the appa or egg hopper. And I'm just gonna try it plain by itself. There is quite a bit of black pepper you can see here, which is a very popular ingredient here in Sri Lanka. Sort of like a savory pancake. Okay, I gotta dip it, I think, in a little bit of curry here. Let me dip this a little bit. Oh yeah, man, I'm in heaven. Curry heaven, this is so good. Okay, I'm gonna try the fish, the white fish that's in here, and eat that with a little bit of string hopper. And oh man, I can see tons of black pepper too. Let's try that. So rich. That fish is actually a little bit tough and kind of chewy, but it's okay because the curry flavor definitely makes up for it. I knew when we came to Sri Lanka that the flavor was going to be intense because they're just packing spice into a very delicate, almost watered down version of what I know as curry. So it's just extra rich in flavor, a real bomb to the taste buds, but I am absolutely loving it so far. Whew, I am stuffed after that, but such a delicious breakfast. Sri Lankans definitely don't mess around with breakfast. They like it spicy and flavorful. So apparently there is a market, vegetable market this time, that we're going to head to very close to here. So we're kind of in a traffic jam between the tuk-tuk and lots of people and lots of vegetables and fruit. Really vibrant market.
Hello.
Banana. So right here is something that I just spotted that I want to try, and that is called the wood apple. So yeah, it has a pretty pungent smell, almost like blue cheese, and definitely strong. This market has got to be just as crazy and busy, if not more, than the fish market this morning. Lots of friendly people once again. They are selling mass amounts of produce, everything, onions, avocado, mangoes, yeah, everything going on. Lots of life, very vibrant. Taste it? So we're just stopping at a little spice shop here, and he gave me a cardamom pod. I'm gonna try it out. Yeah. Almost a little bit licoricey. Actually not as strong as I had imagined. Check this out here. This is Sri Lanka's most important ingredient, the coconut, and this one's called the king coconut. We're not gonna try it right now. We have ample opportunity to try it in the future, but I wanna try see if I can pick this up. It looks like it's gonna be super heavy. Oh man, it's so heavy. Ah! So we were finished off at the vegetable and fruit market, really cool. Right in the center of Colombo, yet it almost feels rural, very traditional. So I think we're gonna take a little bit of a break, go meet up with my buddy Reed, and before we head back out for some more snacking later. Whew. We are making a quick pit stop at this building behind me here. This is Independence Square. So when Sri Lanka became independent from Britain, they built this square and building behind me in remembrance of that day. So it's actually a replica of a building that is in Kandy, which is another city here in Sri Lanka, except the difference is this one's built out of concrete and the one in Kandy is built mainly out of wood. So it's a beautiful building, lots of locals just chilling in the shade here. So we only have one full day here in Colombo. Well, tomorrow we have a special episode planned and we're not gonna have any time to do any sightseeing. So we're trying to squeeze it all in today if we can. So on to the next spot. So we are now at Pettah Bazaar, which is a shopping street, kind of a touristy area, and there's some attractions like this behind me, which is the Red Mosque, one of the oldest mosques in Sri Lanka, and it is very busy once again. Less peaceful than the last temple, but very beautiful mosque. Just check out the colors.
It's spicy chicken.
So we're doing a walk through the Pettah Bazaar and we spotted a little stall selling some type of soup. It's like a congee, so it's made with rice and chicken, and there's also ginger in here, tons of spices of course, and a really busy stall, lots of locals here, and served hot in a glass cup, so really interesting preparation. It smells really good, let me try it. Oh, it's a little bit spicy. Actually, it's really thick and quite spicy. Little ginger flavor. The rice and the liquid almost feel like the same texture because it's extremely thick. That's pretty good. I think it tastes those curry leaves. Actually, I think I have a curry leaf in my mouth. We are on the hunt for lassi, one of my all-time favorite drinks. Fresh curd, very sour, great for the stomach. Looking in the market, maybe we found a place here that has it. Let's check it out. The lassi is good?
Lassi good.
Yeah?
Good,
Sri Lanka lassi is good?
Good.
Yeah? Okay, we will wait then.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the curd to arrive for the lassi, but they also have some samosas here. So we ordered a chicken samosa and some tomato sauce. So I'll put a little sauce in the bin here. They gave us all of these, but you just eat whatever you want, and they will put the rest back, what you don't eat. It's pretty good. It's crispy on the outside, very crispy. Lots of onions. Once again, definitely curry powder inside. All kinds of spices. A little bit of chicken, but not too much. So the curd has arrived. We've got ourselves a mango lassi, so you can get all different kinds of flavors. Popular ones include mango, definitely, and banana. But yeah, we ordered the mango. Let's try it out. It looks really thick and refreshing. It's very thick. I can barely pull it up the straw. Oh yeah, and sweet from the mango. They must have put some sugar in there because it is quite sweet, and actually not as sour as I remember lassi. Very sweet. Pretty good. Quick little stop for a lassi, nice and refreshing. Not the best one I've ever had for sure, but pretty good. And I love the little refreshment stands that you can pop into. There's all kinds of them around the Pettah Bazaar area. Stopping at our next shop. This is another sweet shop. I was just told that it's 83 years old, and we're going to try faluda. We have the faluda now. This is the rose water flavor. So there's rose water syrup at the bottom. You can see all that red down at the bottom here. The faluda is the ice cream made with fresh milk on top here, sort of melting. These look like basil seeds. I'm not exactly sure if they are. And then this is something made with cornstarch, and it kind of looks like a noodle. So I was told that I should stir it up very well. So let me stir it. Look at that, wow, that's a beautiful color. That looks delicious. Oh wow, that is really good. Super strong floral flavor from the rose water. And then all of those little chewies in there, very nice texture. And you can definitely taste the sweetness from the faluda. It's like frothy on top, but wow, that was a strong rose flavor. Very, very strong. Nice and refreshing. We have come to the coast here in Colombo to an area called Galle Fort. It's kind of a beach, but really it's a field that's right on the ocean. So you can see the ocean behind me here. Lots of people flying kites behind me. The sun is setting. There's all kinds of vendors. You can buy inflatables, you can buy kites, and the waves are really coming in crashing. It's quite beautiful, and we are just cooling off after a long day of eating. With the chef here, we just stopped at one of the Seaside restaurants, and he's making kottu, which is like kind of like fried rice, but without the rice. They use roti instead. He invited me back here to attempt to cook it. I've never even seen it being cooked before, so he'll demonstrate first for me, of course, and then I'll try. So he's adding some chili flakes, some what's this, curry, a little bit of gravy. And you can see all the little roti kind of shreddings inside there. Wow, I don't have rhythm like that. Yeah, all right, I'll try. Oh, these are really greasy. From front to back. Nope. I'm like losing little bits at a time. I would not be hired here. Woo. And it's hot and it smells like chilies. Alright. Leave it up to the master. Oh yeah, burning my eyes big time. You show me how it's done. Okay, we have our kottu roti. This is something I've been looking forward to try. Really interesting preparation, as you just saw, and it's a very simple dish. They just use the very thin roti mixed. We ordered vegetarian, so there is carrots, there is onions, green onions, and then we've got more onions on the side, raw, cucumber, and it looks like a tomato. Over here we've got a little bit of a tomato sauce, and then back here we've got a dry chili sambal. And you can hear him going in the background, chopping the kottu. Let me try just by itself. Oh, that is really good. I love the texture. So the texture of the roti is very chewy. It's not fried crispy at all. It still retains a little bit of elasticity. There's definitely some chili flakes mixed in there. I didn't even use the sambal. And then all of those veggies too, a little bit crisp. Let me try some with this tomato. I think this is like a tomato sauce on the side. Let me try. It's actually kind of smoky. Wow, that's really good. Really hearty and definitely filling. And a lovely restaurant right on the side of the sea with a nice background, some tall buildings. That was really good. Definitely lived up to my expectations. That was the dish I was looking forward to trying the most today. And I definitely wasn't expecting to try and cook it myself. So very unique experience, very delicious. So we have one more special thing on the menu today we're going to go try. What's in here?
Yeah.
Soup. Soup.
Wow. We're at our next spot. We've got all kinds of different foods. What is that?
And biryani.
Biryani, okay.
Biryani. Biryani.
Okay, yeah.
And dum biryani.
Okay, a couple different types of
Finger
biryani.
first biryani.
Many types.
Finger first, no rice.
Okay.
And fried rice.
Fried rice.
Yes, fried rice.
And then what do you got here? Curry?
And macaroni. And Singapore kotte. Paratha kotte. Pan kotte. Dolphin kotte. Naan kotte. Kubus kotte.
All right.
Yeah. And mutton curry. Mutton barbecue. Mutton paya.
This is mutton?
Paya.
Paya. Oh, mutton paya. Oh.
And
Wow.
mutton kurma.
Wow, yeah, you have everything.
And brain.
And brain.
Master brain mutton.
Where's the brain?
Mutton brain.
Mutton brain. There's the brain. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And cuttlefish.
Okay.
Cuttlefish egg. And fish.
Fish. Wow. So, really everything. What is your favorite? What one is your favorite?
And beef and all item.
All item?
All item.
All item. Good answer.
There was chicken, masala chicken, parandi chicken, chili chicken, tandoori chicken, grill chicken, roast chicken, barbecue chicken, chicken kurma, chicken curry, all item.
All item.
Taste and best.
Okay.
Sri Lanka.
You heard it here first. He's
And
good at everything.
Abdul Hamid Tweedy, taste and food, Rashid Kade, Askar Hotel, Dadri Mama Samuel.
Okay. So as you just heard from the owner, they have every dish basically imaginable. All kinds of different curries, all kinds of bright oranges and yellows. It really smells good, especially this soup, this beef soup. It smells really good.
Cool.
Yeah, and looks really good. So I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna try in all, but I know we're gonna try the brain for sure. We are sitting down at our final stop of the day. Reed and I are about to embark on a Sri Lankan food adventure. We have brain. So this is mutton brain curried. You can see big chunk of brain. Our guide brought us here saying that this was something special that we needed to try. And you can see that's a thick gravy and a big chunk of brain. We also have the mutton paya, which is mainly like the cartilage and the bones, the fat. So maybe you want to try this one first or the brain?
I'm gonna go for the brains.
Okay,
first,
let's go for the brain. So we also have the roti, so I'm definitely gonna eat it with a little bit of roti.
Yes, definitely.
I recommend you do the same. So last time I had brain, we were in Lebanon and it was really good. But I've had also the opposite experience before too.
Which we had one together.
Yeah, together.
In Jai.
In Taiwan, yep. So I'm actually just gonna break a little piece off, I think, and just kind of put it on top like this. Oh yeah, creamy.
Super creamy.
Really creamy.
Wow. This reminds me of like the last time we ate this, and I just kept feeling like, wow, it's like a really soft cheese.
And then the gravy is also thick. They almost have a similar consistency. Flavor-wise, I can't even really taste the brain.
No.
Maybe a little gaminess, but barely.
Mostly texture.
Yeah, it's mostly texture. Really all about that gravy. I'm actually just gonna grab maybe one of these bones.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, that's good. Oh yeah. Actually, wow. There's a little bit more meat on there than I expected. Strong curry flavor, coconut too.
Yeah. I like this brain one. The mutton pie, that pie is really good. but
Yeah.
This is something very unique that I gotta get a little more of.
Yeah, I'm glad we could try this today in Colombo. You can actually see like the layers of the brain. Interesting way to end the day. So we're just taking a tour of the family's home. It is very rustic, very village type home, but very friendly family. They're making some tea over a wood fire, and she's using kind of a pipe to blow some air into it to keep that flame burning. Really cool. It smells really nice. So we're having a nice little breakfast with the string hopper, sweet string hopper, and then we've got some black Ceylon tea served in a coconut, which is so cool. Oh yeah, that is my type of way to start the day. A little sweet, a little bit of tea. So good, so cool too. This is such a cool opportunity to explore the family's home, very traditional style of living. So now we will go with one of the local women to the farm to pick some vegetables. She has a basket here which we'll collect them in, and we're gonna go, it's just 100 meters walk from here. So we were just walking kind of through the jungle to their farm slash garden. It is absolutely beautiful here. We're right by a lake and you can hear the cicadas in the trees. This is the real deal. This is some real rural life and I am loving it. So I think we're just about finished picking the fresh vegetables. They have a lot of variety here. We picked a couple different types of beans. We picked some eggplant, all kinds of different things. We've got a whole bundle here. Look at this. Wow. That was so cool. And the ladies are extremely friendly. All of those ingredients I know are gonna taste delicious. They're just growing them organically right on the side of the lake. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of produce. So you can see behind me here, the woman has a long pole, and up on top of this tree there are some jackfruit. So there's kind of a gaff, like a sharp blade at the end of it, and she's gonna cut the jackfruit off. Wow. Whoa.
Hey.
So we just brought all the fresh vegetables and the jackfruit back to the home, and now she's going to cut it up so we can start to prepare the dishes for later today. So the women just used an axe to break the jackfruit up into a couple big chunks, and then they got this new device which is kind of a stool that she can sit on, but it also has a knife that comes out from the inside. Now she's using that knife to cut the jackfruit into smaller pieces and remove the seeds, kind of cleaning the jackfruit. So it is now time to start cooking the jackfruit curry. We are in the kitchen. She's preparing the other ingredients for the curry, and she's using that same stool with the knife on it. I've never really seen that been used anywhere else, and she's so skillful at using it. It's really incredible. So she just freshly cracked a coconut for me and gave me a sample of the water. Oh yeah, very sweet, so good. So in that same toolbox stool, she also has a coconut scraper. So she gave us the water to drink, and now they're going to take the flesh for the curry. So they just started a fire in order to cook the curry, and just finishing off with the grinding of the coconut behind me. So the next step after grinding the coconut is to make the coconut milk. She just mixes a little bit of water and then strains it through her fingers in order to make that white, thick coconut milk, which will go really nicely with that jackfruit for the curry. So included in the jackfruit curry, she's using onions, garlic, pandan leaves, curry leaves, and then a couple different spices: cinnamon, chili flakes, turmeric, and curry powder. Thank you. So I'm getting a taste of the jackfruit curry here. Let's try it. Oh, very good. Oh, it's very, very good. A little bit of heat. You can definitely taste that jackfruit, and it's a little bit sweet too. So good. Besides the jackfruit curry, they're also making quite a few other dishes with all of those fresh vegetables that we picked this morning. They also have some lake fish. We're going to let the women cook away and explore their property a little bit. This little community village is so cool. It's called Palvahera, and it's just on the outskirts of Sigiriya, and there's some local village kids playing here. So the curries are finished, and we're going to be eating the curries with roti, so they're going to start prepping the roti now.
Very good.
So we have two different types of roti. The first is made with wheat flour and coconut, and the second is made with red millet and coconut. Just a little bit of water, all handmade, and then put on a burning hot plate over top of that wood fire, and then fried up to a crisp. One other thing to note about the process of making this full meal, there was absolutely no plastic waste produced, or really any waste for that matter. They're using all reusable tools, banana leaves. So I believe that was the last step. The rotis are finished, all the curries are finished, and it's time to eat. So we're actually going to have dinner here in this hut behind me. This is made out of mud, you can see right here, and it has a thatched roof. It's quite a large dining room.
So the roti you can just break it into pieces.
So the time has come. We are sitting down in the mud hut and we have all of the different dishes. It is absolutely beautiful. Look at this spread here. We've got so many different colors going on. So I've got a little bit of white rice, of course, but I wanted to save room to try the rotis as well. So we have the two different types of roti, the red millet and then the wheat. Underneath the roti, I've got a salad with coconut and pennywort. Over here, this is the capsicum, those peppers that we picked from the garden earlier with all kinds of different spices and coconut milk. This is a salad with coconut once again and tomatoes. Here are those long beans covered with some chili, and I can see little curry leaves in there as well. This is a lake fish curry, which supposedly is quite spicy. And then this is what I am looking forward to trying the most, the jackfruit. And check that out, there is all kinds of things going on in there. It looks really creamy. I'm just gonna go in right away and try some of this jackfruit with a little bit of rice. Oh man, I can feel that is gonna be so creamy. Look at that. Wow. Let's try it. Wow. The taste is slightly sweet, very coconutty, and it's not spicy. They didn't put very much chili powder in there whatsoever, but the texture of that jackfruit is what makes that so incredibly good. It's a little bit starchy, almost like a potato, but it's also almost meaty at the same time, like chicken. It has an incredible texture. And you can see there's just like chunks of jackfruit in there, and it is so ridiculously creamy with all of that coconut milk. Oh man, this is so good. Straight from the garden, fell off the tree this morning. Oh, wow. That's incredible. That is so good. So I'm gonna rip a little bit of the roti, the wheat roti off first and try it with these peppers. These look really good too. Those peppers definitely have a little bit of heat to them, but the flavor of the pepper is so strong. It's like a bell pepper concentrated down. I'm gonna try the red millet roti next with a little bit of these long beans, which look like they're covered in quite a bit of chili. That roti has a completely different texture. It's much more dense and it feels a lot more hearty. Those long beans still crisp, a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. Actually, nothing that I've tried so far has been too spicy. Let me break a little bit of this off. And this is our only, I believe this is the only non-veg dish on the plate with a little bit of rice here. Yep, let's get some heat to it. Oh yeah, it's a building spice. Wow. That is good too. So I've skipped over a couple things. I want to try this this salad here with some tomatoes, onions, and some spices. Those are the freshest tomatoes I've ever had. They're so sour and sweet at the same time. So I've got one more salad underneath all of these roti, the pennywort with, it looks like some onions and quite a bit of tomato too. Or sorry, quite a bit of coconut. They must have sprinkled quite a bit of lime juice on top of that because that has a nice sour kick. That is a nice salad, but I gotta give it up. It's gotta go for this jackfruit curry. That jackfruit is just phenomenal. It really is like nothing I've ever had before. Oh, and I almost forgot the seeds of the jackfruit. Let me try one of those. It kind of almost tastes like an almond. It's definitely a little bit crunchy, but you can tell it's been cooked in that curry because it's lost its hardness. It's still firm, but it's definitely not as soft as that jackfruit. Oh man, you just mix this all together, grab a couple different things. These peppers are so good too. Everything's got slight coconut flavor. You can taste the garlic, you can taste the curry, the fenugreek, cinnamon. It's all in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this was worth the wait. Thank you. Bye-bye. We've come down to the lake. There are a couple locals swimming. Some of them are bathing. There's lots of wildlife, lots of birds. I think we're just gonna put our feet in. I don't wanna get completely in the water because we still have a couple things we're going to do today. I don't wanna be soaking wet, but there's a nice little rocky area. I'll go put my feet in. We are back from the lake. That was really refreshing, nice little relax, and we're back to this mud hut. But right beside this mud hut, there is a tree house, which apparently we're going to climb up, and I think they've got some snacks for us here too.
Where did the corn come from?
So right behind me here, they are boiling some local corn using wood and also coconut husks. The smell of the wood fire smells so good. And that corn is bright yellow. It's gonna be delicious. You can see that this thing is built extremely sturdy. It's tied off really strong here, and it's quite high up as well. So apparently the farmers will climb up in these tree houses to keep a watch over their crops in order to keep the elephants. In this region, there's quite a bit of elephants, and they want to keep them away from the crops because they will completely destroy it. So they'll climb up at nighttime just to keep their eyes out. Check out how tall this thing is too. The ladies just found some cassava. Cassava here. So actually we've been told that we need to finish our snack pretty quickly before the sun goes down completely, because at night it's not necessarily safe to be up in the treehouse because there are a lot of elephants and other animals around here that could be dangerous.
You don't.
We just climbed down from the treehouse. We are super full. That was some hearty vegetables, delicious, but really that was all about the experience. Sitting up there with the family, with my friends, just absolutely heartwarming, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Kemana bicara bilang ini? Limpa ya. Oh, ini kan ada. Kita foto. Kemana bicara bilang ini? Limpa ya.
So we're checking out. We even saw some elephant footprints, so they are common to this area. And check this out. Our guide just showed us that this here, these little things on the side, comment down below now if you know what it is, because I definitely did not know what this was before he told me. And this is actually sesame seeds. So look at this. Those are sesame seeds in there. How cool is that? I had no idea that that's what it looked like. Yeah, and then you can toast those up. Can I eat it like this? Yeah? Oh wow. The flavor is way stronger than the dried sesame seed. That's sweet. That is good. So cool. So we've met up with the Veddah tribesman, and he led us to this cave that he's actually living in right now, and it is so hot. He's hiking in bare feet. I don't know how he's doing it. The rock would burn your foot. And he's got some arrows and a bow. It looks like he finished hunting recently. And this cave is super cool, and this is where we're going to be preparing a very traditional lunch today. So we just got finished with introductions. He's actually been living his whole life out here. He was born near to this cave, and we asked him how old he is, but he's not really sure exactly. So now he's going to start making a fire.
Quando lagi kaca mandu nak, itu metan terkala pun dia metan mandu kerana. Mira, chamandu kargandhit lana.
So he started with just a couple of rocks, a little bit of cloth, and he started blowing on it and getting it really smoky. So just using manpower, and now he's got the fire going. That was like expert level. It didn't take him any time at all. And this is what we're gonna be cooking with. So he started to prepare a bean that he's going to be using in the curry that he's cooking. It's a meat and bean curry called anima. And it's literally like Jurassic Park out here. You have these incredible views from the cave. And he was mentioning that there was an elephant that walked right by here yesterday. So kind of hoping and also hoping not that an elephant would come by here. So he has all his ingredients laying out on a few banana leaves here, and he's brought the water to a boil, and now he's just added some cornmeal in there. He's boiling down that cornmeal. So he's finished preparing the first dish. It's called palapa, and it's that cornmeal that's been boiled, nothing added, no salt, nothing, just boiled down for a few minutes and waits till it gets to this almost like ice cream like texture, and then scoops it out, and that's done. So he's prepping the meat now, cutting it into small chunks, and that's what's going to be mixed with those beans. And the way that he's holding the knife is really cool. He's just got a stick, and he's holding it between his toes. So far to the anama, he's added the meat, the beans, and then he used a little bit of wild chili powder and then a masala of spices and then some onions, and he's gonna boil that down for a little while, add a couple more ingredients. anama is finished. It's just gonna cook down for a little while, and he's made the talaba, and now he's gonna make a special type of roti. So he's using a couple sticks to make a special structure that he's gonna kind of barbecue the rotis in. So in less than like 2 minutes right there, he just created the device that he's going to use to cook the rotis. I don't know what to call it. Almost it's like a tennis racket or something, but it's basically just some sticks that have been tied together that'll help the roti stay above the fire, and then we can barbecue it like that. After all that hard work, he serves himself up a betel leaf and a little bit of paste, which is kind of like a stimulant and gives him a lot of stamina. And now he's gonna crack open this coconut here. After cracking open the coconut, he uses a sharpened piece of wood to grind the meat out of it. So now he has all that ground coconut. He got every last bit of it, and he's got the empty coconut shell, so he's got a bowl now too. So he just put the final touches on the anama curry. He added a little bit of millet to water and then thickened that up and then added it to the curry to make it like that really thick gravy texture. And then he added some lime juice, and that's finished. So now he's gonna move on to making the roti. The blend for the roti is simple. It's just that millet, a little bit of coconut that he grinded up, and then some salt with water, and then he's just mixing that all together using his hands. So he flattens the roti out right on a leaf, and then it goes directly onto that device that he just made out of all those sticks, and then onto the fire, and that's how he controls the heat so he doesn't burn the roti. That's it for the roti, and there's only one left to cook, one dish left to cook, and that is the cassava leaf salad. So he's gonna pound it in the mortar and pestle here. So after he pounded the cassava leaves down to really fine, almost powder, he blanches them in a little bit of boiling water, and it absorbs all the water, and that's all that he's gonna do to that. So very simple. All the dishes are complete, so it's time to sit down and taste them out. So I'm sitting down with Suda now. He just finished cooking at all these different Veddah dishes, and we're in the cave still. We've got the boiled cassava leaves here. This is the cornmeal thalapa, and this is the curry that I'm really looking forward to trying. And then back here we've got the roti with the coconut, and what a cool experience that was watching him cook this. And I'll say one thing, if I was on a desert island, I'd want to be stuck with him, because this is incredible what he's prepared. So let's dig in. All right, so he's telling me to use the thalapa here to scoop up some of this curry. Oh, that is still really hot. Let's try that. Wow. That's great. Wow. Absolutely no compromise on flavor out here, even with the simple techniques and food that we have here. The flavor is so good. That's Sri Lanka for you. They really don't compromise on those flavors. Let me try a little bit of this boiled cassava. Holy smokes, that is seriously hot. That just came off the fire. Yep, hearty, healthy, super nutritious. That's delicious. Yum. All right, I'm gonna try this roti. Oh wow, it really gets crispy. That is super crispy. And then go in for some of the meat in this curry here. Oh man, it's super tender. Yum. The roti gets a really crisp, really kind of hard texture, and you get the little flavor of coconut in there as well. But really, I love just eating this thalapa with the curry here. This is so flavorful, even though he just used minimal spices. Just the way that he cooked it, it's got this really thick texture. What a day. Delicious. Keep eating, I think you tell me. We've eaten in a lot of different villages, and usually one thing that's common is that the flavors are super simple, very basic, but here in Sri Lanka that's not the case. There's tons of flavor packed in there. The garlic, the onions, the masalas, everything is so delicious. Wow.
So Suda.
This is a market that's only set up in the morning, and it's exclusively operated by women. They're serving all sorts of different Sri Lankan breakfast foods, and we went with something called undu tose. So it's a tose, like a dosa, but it's made with white lentil flour. So she's frying them up fresh. They kind of start bubbling almost like a little pancake, then folded over and then served with vegetable curry gravy, and then a little bit of coconut sambal. And this is the final result here. I ordered up 2 of the tose. This is the coconut sambal. I'll just rip a little piece off, and then you can just dip it in the gravy here, this vegetable gravy.
all vegetarian. It's actually really salty. I wasn't expecting that. It's super salty, but with dosa, it's got amazing fluffy texture. It's kind of crispy on the bottom, but then really soft on the top still. Let's try it with some of this coconut sambal here. You gotta go easy with that gravy because it's super salty. I wasn't expecting it. Oh yeah. It's also got like a little bit of a sourness to it. I love that coconut. Coconut tastes amazing with it. And this dosa just soaks up all that gravy. Definitely a little bit of spice too. Not too much though. Perfect for breakfast. We're just filling up before we start our fishing adventure here in southern Sri Lanka. Something a little sweet to wash away the saltiness. This is called kaum. It's a dessert, Sri Lankan dessert. And they just fry it in oil and they stick a little stick inside of it and then kind of work the oil until it gets this unique kind of, I don't know what you want to call that shape. Nipple? That's what I call it. That's what it looks like. Let's try it out. There's some spices in there as well. Like it's not spicy, but it tastes a little bit of cinnamon. It's definitely sweet. And it's not crunchy, but it's got a firm texture. Yum. Nice little Sri Lankan breakfast to start our day. Let's go fishing.
Before we actually go fishing ourselves, I wanted to stop and show you this first. This is a unique tradition of the south of Sri Lanka. These are the stilt fishermen. So, as the name suggests, they are perched on top of these little stilts or sticks that are kind of stuck into the ground out into the ocean, and they're sitting there all day and they're fishing. It's a very traditional type of fishing that is unique to the south of Sri Lanka that goes back a long time. They actually are successful. They're catching fish. I can see them landing fish, but I will say, if you want to take pictures of these guys, you actually have to pay first before you take pictures. So they found that it's more profitable to actually just charge tourists to take pictures of them than selling their catch. But still something you got to see here in Sri Lanka. Super unique. I've never seen anything quite like it. I don't think that looks very comfortable whatsoever, but seriously cool. I've never seen it before. Make sure you pay first, like I said, because they can get pretty nasty if you don't pay up front first. Let's go do some fishing ourselves. We just left shore, we're heading out into the deeper waters. The water here is absolutely beautiful, crystal clear, full of marine life. You can actually, sometimes if you're really lucky, spot blue whales in the waters off Sri Lanka, the largest, I think, animal in the entire world. We saw a sea turtle. Later we'll probably go snorkeling, see if we can spot some more sea turtles. But in the meantime, we're gonna try to catch some fish for lunch today. So they baited the hook with a little bit of squid, and we're just using a spool with some fishing line on it, no rod, and just jigging about 1 meter off the bottom. And hopefully we're gonna catch some mullet. There's also tuna. Let's see what we catch. So we caught a couple small sort of reef fish, and we've changed locations. It is a little bit too late in the day now. It's choppy and the wind has picked up quite a lot. So we've got some sick crew members hanging over the side of the boat here. We're gonna try a little bit longer and see if we can't catch something bigger. Hopefully, the waves are pretty bad. You okay? Huh? That's a no. So we spotted a big flock of birds, which is always a good sign. It means there's fish, and we've got the rods out now. We're kind of circling around the feeding frenzy and hopefully gonna land something bigger than what we already caught.
A few moments later.
So no luck other than the small reef fish that we caught. They insisted we keep them even though I thought we should release them. So that's fishing for you. I guess we're gonna have to go to the market and buy some lunch today. That experience.
It was, I mean, for me it's awful because it's so windy, and like I threw up a couple of times because when the boat stopped for fishing, I couldn't control myself, and then on the way back, somehow the boat driver, he just turned the motors like so fast, and the boat was like up and down the skies like that, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to die here, like, to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm so dizzy, and then I have to experience that. Like, I'm sorry, but this is not what I expect.
Not what you signed
today
up for?
at all. It's not what I signed up for, and it's not what I expect at all.
I mean, I think we were safe the whole time. It was just really choppy and not easy to film when your cameraman's puking over the side of the boat.
And Luke was like, Mink, come here, and I was like,
That's enough. So we've come to this little sort of roadside fish market. He's got a lot of different fish, a lot bigger ones than the ones we were catching, and we're gonna purchase our fish off of him for lunch today to cook a southern Sri Lankan dish called Ambulthiyal, which I'm gonna show you the entire process next. So we ended up going for a fish that's called a mackerel tuna. It is a pretty decent sized fish, and we've come right on the beach to cook it up into the Ambulthiyal. So he's just chopping it up now. Really dark red flesh in this mackerel. It's a fairly simple dish, but there's one really key ingredient. It's called goraka in local language, which is called Malabar tamarind. It's a type of tamarind. It's a very sour fruit that they add into the fish, and then a ton of black pepper, some green chilies, some garlic, a little bit of salt, and that's pretty much it. But it's full of flavor from that goraka, the Malabar tamarind. That's the key ingredient in the dish called Ambulthiyal here in the south of Sri Lanka. So the characteristic of Ambulthiyal is its black color, and that is because of the tamarind that they add in there, the Malabar tamarind, and also a ton of black pepper. It's a very simple dish, and now it's just cooking away on the wood fire while we enjoy the beautiful views of the southern coast of Sri Lanka. It is absolutely gorgeous here. So the Ambulthiyal is finished cooking, and we just called this guy over here. He's got a tuk-tuk and he's selling some bread, so we're gonna have some bread with our Ambulthiyal. So this is really traditional here in Sri Lanka to buy your bread out of a tuk-tuk. So if you ever hear that tune in Sri Lanka, you know it's the bread man. You can get your bread right out of the back of the tuk-tuk. It's not the ice cream truck, and it's not the Taiwanese garbage truck. It is the Sri Lankan tuk-tuk bread man. So let's go eat our Ambulthiyal with some bread. Okay, it's time to eat. We're sitting down now on the beautiful beach, and I've got my meal just on the banana leaf here. So starting out with the black mackerel, tuna mackerel they call it, the Ambulthiyal. So it's sour kind of fish with this beautiful gravy all over top of it. And then that's to be eaten with the bread that we just bought right out of the back of the tuk-tuk. And then this is a type of sambal. They call it pole sambal, but this is a little bit different than the other pole sambal we've tried. This is the southern style with curry leaves and spices, turmeric. It's basically just shredded coconut. And then this back here is another dish cooked with those small fish that we caught this morning, that we actually caught ourselves. But I gotta go in with some of this bread and go in for a piece of the Ambulthiyal. Let's try that. Yeah, that's good. It's a really unique flavor to have, sort of sour fish dish, but that's coming from that Malabar tamarind, sorry. It's a really kind of sour, unique flavor, kind of fruity almost. You can see that these are just beautiful chunks of fish. Really flaky, fall apart. Goes well with the bread. It's got a little bit of spicy, put some green chili in there, but it's not too spicy. It's like a toasted bread. A really unique dish, especially popular here in southern Sri Lanka. You gotta try the Ambulthiyal. Let me try a little bit of just some of that sauce. I really want to get this piece with a lot of that sauce, and then some of the sambal, that pol sambal, that shredded coconut. Yeah, I love that fresh coconut flavor. The sambal's a little spicy too. I gotta say that this Ambulthiyal, it might be one of my favorite Sri Lankan dishes. It's such a unique flavor. You know, big chunks of fish and like really sour sauce on the outside. It sounds kind of weird to have like a sour fish curry, but that's what it is, and it's not weird at all. It tastes amazing. I love that sauce on top. And with the bread, it's great. Nice fresh bread, toasted fresh. Well, it is a little bit too bad that we didn't catch our own fish, but still super fresh fish from the market, and a great experience for me anyway. I don't know how Mink feels about going fishing, because she was certainly not enjoying herself out there, but Sri Lanka, especially southern Sri Lanka, absolutely beautiful. The coastline here is just so scenic. The views are incredible, and the water is so clear and nice, and the food is awesome too. Really interesting flavor with the strong black pepper and the sour Malabar tamarind. It makes for a really unique dish that you must try here in southern Sri Lanka. Like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite dishes. That probably wasn't the best version of it I've ever had, that's for sure. But we're gonna head now to the nearby town of Galle, which is famous for its old town, its old fort. We're gonna take a look around the fort, see what we can find. So this is Galle Fort, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an extremely popular tourist destination here on the southern coast of Sri Lanka. Originally it was settled by the Portuguese, but then it was developed further by the Dutch and then finally by the British. So all three colonizers have left their mark here in Galle Fort, and it's beautiful. It's got this incredible turquoise water surrounding it, and then you've got all kinds of beautiful old buildings. It's a very multicultural place. So you see churches, you see mosques, there's all different types of religions and races residing here in Galle Fort. You've got to see it if you're visiting Sri Lanka. It's definitely one of the top places to visit, and this is my third time, but my first time to actually come to Galle Fort, so I really missed out because it is absolutely beautiful. Really beautiful colonial architecture here in Galle Fort. It's completely different than the rest of Sri Lanka. It's a very unique place to visit here, but we're gonna take you back to our hotel now and give you a quick tour before sunset. So we are back at our hotel. This is another jet wing property. This one's called Jet Wing Saman Villas. It's located in Bentota, and this is going to be one of the most incredibly beautiful hotels I've ever had the pleasure of staying at. It's on this little rocky outcrop between two gorgeous beaches, and there are only 27 rooms, all villas. Let me give you a little peek inside of ours. We have a private pool. It is incredible. So we got back a little bit late. The sun has already set. This room is absolutely incredible though, guys. We've got this patio, there's a lounge, of course a bedroom, there's a beautiful bathtub, and then the pièce de résistance, this incredible private pool, or if you'd like, you can also go to their public pool, which is equally as stunning with incredible views over the Indian Ocean. I think I'm gonna go for a little dip right now. We do have to be a little bit careful because Sri Lanka is a very wild place. There are crocodiles in these waters, but apparently they're more active at night, so we should be fine. But also elephants. There are tons and tons of elephants in this area, and you definitely don't want to stumble upon one of those guys. Okay, so we're on the boat now. They've actually laid out a net last night in the evening, and then they've come back this morning to pull up the net. One of the fishermen is on a little inflatable tube, and he's gonna pull up the net now, and hopefully they've got some fish in there. Okay, we've got our first fish already. They call the local name, it's called lula. It's sort of like a spotted fish, pretty decent size. It's a pretty effective method. Here he is right here, just floating in an inner tube and pulling up the net. Really cool. And we've got our second fish already. This time it's a tilapia, and it seems like this is quite an effective method. If you didn't watch our previous episode in the north, they were also using a net style fishing in the Indian Ocean. So it seems as though net is definitely the way to go. If you are surviving off of what you're going to catch, you're not going to be line fishing. You're going to be using the net. It's just so much more effective. And although it might not be as sustainable as line caught fish, for fishermen like this man here, this is the definite best way of getting a good harvest every day. I was just saying how surprised I was at how productive the lake here is with tilapia. I mean, we've been pulling them up constantly, but apparently this is the time of year where the water's a little bit high. They actually don't catch as much as they usually catch. Sometimes they'll catch 10 kgs or more just from one net. So he's nearly finished with this net, and apparently he's got another net which is designed to catch larger size fish. So we're gonna go over to that net next and see if they've got anything bigger. The fact that he's on an inner tube is hilarious. It looks like he's just splashing around having fun out here, but he's not. He's actually out here fishing, and it is seriously effective. We've already caught a ton of tilapia. You'll notice some parts of the net have a big hole in it, and that's because there was a fish in there, but then a crocodile took that fish and tore the net all to shreds last night. So this is risky business, floating around in an inner tube, fishing in crocodile infested waters, but he is fearless. We've got tons of fish, plenty for our lunch, so we're gonna head back to shore now. So we're back on shore. We've just come to the fisherman's little hut here, and he's just cleaning up a couple of the tilapia that we caught. We're gonna take those to a nearby home and hotel to cook into a traditional Sri Lankan curry, lake fish curry. That was such an incredible experience to see how they caught the fish, and I think even though they said it's not the season, I think their catch was still pretty good today. Besides fishing for income, he also has a small farm here, and you can see up in the tree, he's got this tree house, which is for watching for the elephants, because the elephants can easily come and destroy your crops. And you can see just very simple life. He's got, this is actually a light, so it's like a fuel, little flask full of fuel. And then this over here is for scaring away the birds so they don't eat the crops. So friendly and humble. He even picked some lotus flowers as a gift for mink. So we've got our fish, they're all cleaned up and chopped up. We're gonna take it over to the home now to be cooked into our lunch. So the ladies here are going to be preparing several different dishes, but also of course the lake fish that we just caught. They've got all the ingredients laying out and cooking in this little kind of hut here, and they just cracked open a coconut, gave me some coconut water for a little refreshment after our fishing trip. Oh, so sweet. Oh, it's naturally so sweet. Coconuts here in Sri Lanka are incredible and a staple of the cuisine too. So the first dish that the ladies are preparing is a roti, so an unleavened flat bread using different types of base. So we've got this one here, which is with a finger millet, and it's made with the shredded coconut as well. We're also going to make ones out of like rice flour and corn flour and all kinds of different bases, and then just cooking it right on the wood fire and just kind of fry it up. First she puts it on a banana leaf so it doesn't kind of crumble apart, and then once it's cooked a little bit, she puts it flat onto the frying pan. So the rotis are cooking away, and one of the other ladies in the meantime just started to prepare pol sambal, which is a Sri Lankan condiment which goes with pretty much any dish here in Sri Lanka. It's simple, it's just chili, salt, and coconut, a little bit of lime, and a tiny bit of onions, and then she's grinded it down using this stone grinder. You can see that nearly everything, including the condiments and the dishes, use coconut, either in the shredded form or in the milk form. Coconut is in everything here in Sri Lanka. So this is the final result of the pol sambal. We try a little bit of it. Freshly grinded. Oh my gosh, yum. It's a little sour, coconutty, a little bit spicy. There's a ton of flavor in there. Oh my gosh, I could just eat that like that. It's so good. So the rotis are finished cooking, and they just started to prepare the fish curry using, of course, our fresh lake fish that we just caught this morning. So they started with a base of garlic and onions, fried, sauteed in a little bit of coconut oil, and then some pandan leaves and some curry leaves, and then added a ton of spice to that fish. And then the fish goes in, and a little bit of something similar to tamarind, souring agent, and then also of course some Ceylon cinnamon. You gotta have the cinnamon here in Sri Lanka. We've also got a pumpkin curry going too. This just smells and looks so good. I can't wait to try it. All of the food has been finished preparing. We have so many different dishes here. This looks amazing. This is all the different types of roti that we cooked up. So there's the corn flour roti, the millet roti, rice flour. This one's got like different veggies in it. And then starting over here, we've got our pol sambal, the condiment. This is some greens. We've got some cassava, and this is the main dish here, the fish curry, beautiful fish curry. And then we've got a pumpkin curry back here, which looks incredible. Just look at how creamy that pumpkin looks, all to be eaten with the roti. And then finally, this is a mushroom curry, and I've got also a bowl here to just kind of wash my hands off because we're gonna be eating with our hands. This looks so good. Let's dig in. Okay, I've made up my plate here, and it's served on a lotus leaf, which is just so cool. It's so traditional. I'm gonna grab some of this roti here, and I gotta go in right away and try the fish curry, the lake fish curry, fresh tilapia that we caught this morning. Let's try that. Yum. The roti is really nice, but it's got a nice kind of crunch to it, a kind of charred, burnt part on the bottom. And that fish, so tender. Actually, the flavor is not like a super strong
curry, like it's not overpowering. It's like a light coconut flavor with spices in there, but not spicy. Man, that just melts in your mouth. That fish is super, super tender. I love pumpkin, and this looks incredible. I'm gonna grab a piece of pumpkin and a little bit of the pole sambal, the coconut chili sambal. Oh my gosh, yes. Pole sambal might be the greatest Sri Lankan invention ever. It's so flavorful. It's sour, it's sweet from the coconut, it's spicy from that chili. It's almost got a little smokiness to it too. And that pumpkin just so creamy, melts in your mouth once again. It's almost got the same texture as the fish actually. Okay, let's try the mushroom next. But I gotta just load it up with that pole sambal. That's my favorite thing here in Sri Lanka for sure. Wow, the mushrooms still got a nice crunch to them. They've got a similar flavor as the fish, the mushrooms do. That sambal, that pole sambal is so good. Oh my gosh, it makes everything taste amazing. Okay, I've got another type of roti. This is the finger millet roti. Let's try it with some sambal and the greens. That roti's got a different texture to it. It's more crumbly, kind of just falls apart in your mouth. And everything is just so fresh tasting, so healthy tasting, and full of flavor. All organic. It just feels really good to eat it. You just feel good eating it. Everything tastes so fresh, and knowing that we caught the fish from the lake, which is just, I don't know, 300 meters down the road from here, it just makes it taste even better knowing how fresh it is. What an experience, and what delicious food. This is awesome.
Actually, I think I never tried pumpkin in a curry version before. And this one is really, really delicious, and I love it. Especially when you eat the pumpkin curry with that coconut sambal. Spice like hits me, and like I'm a spicy lover, so I love it.
I gotta give it up for that pumpkin curry. It's so good. But I mean, the lake fish, everything's delicious, and with the roti, it's awesome. It's nice to have the different curries with the roti instead of rice. Kind of change things up here in Sri Lanka. Pumpkin, number one for me. Fish, number two though. So good. That was an incredible meal. We've got dessert now. This is a local Sri Lankan dessert made of sago. So it's made with jaggery and sago, and also some raisins on top there. Just put in my little bowl. I love these little clay pots here in Sri Lanka. It's so cool. And this is very traditional dessert for a very traditional meal. They're like little tapioca pearls, or kind of like little mini bobas. A little bit sweet, and also they've got coconut in there as well. So coconut in not only the savory dishes, but also the sweet dishes here in Sri Lanka. What a meal, what a way to end the meal. But I want to show you guys the hotel that we're staying at here in Sigiriya. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take you there, show you the room we're staying at, and then later this evening we're going to have another meal at the hotel, but something really unique. You're going to want to see this. So this is Aliyah Resort and Spa. We're staying in one of their suites. It has a beautiful private pool and this incredible garden, which you can see all kinds of wildlife. We even saw a peacock spreading its feathers and doing a little bit of a dance here last night. And our room is nice and spacious, very modern, incredible amenities. There's also a sauna in our room. Private pool, but you don't even really need it because they have one of the most incredibly beautiful pools for everybody at their resort, with a beautiful view over Sigiriya Rock, massive pool. And we're going to be having dinner here tonight at their restaurant, which is a very local, authentic restaurant. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, freshen up, and then catch back up with you tonight for dinner. So one of the many restaurants here at the Aliyah Resort is called Nagula, which translates to plow. So they call it plow because it's surrounded by rice paddies. They've got a little museum which shows the old wooden plows which were towed behind a couple of buffalo. And they've got it set up like a little Sri Lankan village in this kind of mud hut. And they're going to be cooking several different dishes for us. The first dish they're going to be cooking is a dal curry, and the second is a prawn curry.
Thank you.
Taste test.
Wow. It's delicious.
So the first dish she is preparing is the dal, so lentil curry, and of course using wood fire and a clay pot. She started with some coconut oil, sautees some garlic and onions, and then adds in all those lentils, and then tons of coconut milk too. Coconut milk in nearly everything here in Sri Lanka. Then add some spice, some chili, some turmeric, fenugreek, salt, and then some herbs like pandan, and then finally a big handful of spinach, and kind of mixes that all around, lets those lentils cook down, and lets that coconut milk get super rich and creamy. Next dish is the prawn curry. So starts with some coconut oil once again, and then some mustard seeds, and kind of lets them cook away until they stop crackling. Add a little bit of garlic, some curry leaves, some pandan leaves, some onions, and I think the prawns are in next. After the prawns go in, some spices, once again, red chili, a little bit of turmeric, and another super important ingredient here in Sri Lanka is the cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon. If you're not having Ceylon cinnamon, you're not really having cinnamon. This is the real deal stuff. You only need a little bit because it's got a lot of flavor to it. So some more herbs in there, and I think we're gonna add some coconut milk and let that boil down, and that's the prawn curry. All right, we've got more than just those two dishes that they've already prepared ahead of time, and it's time to sit down at this beautiful restaurant here, Nagula, for our dinner. We just have the most wild spread of Sri Lankan food. This is how normally it's going to be served to you here in Sri Lanka, with an abundance of variety, and you sort of just grab rice and then add all the different dishes onto your plate. So let's make up a plate. So any Sri Lankan meal, you gotta have the rice, of course, and this restaurant is situated right beside the rice paddies, which is absolutely beautiful. So the first dish we've got here is a potato dish. Grab a little bit of that. I just want to grab a little bit of everything because there's so many different dishes. This is really good looking. This is a tuna. It's like a blackened tuna. Just grab one piece of that. Over here is a chicken curry. So much flavor in all of these, and all that coconut milk as well. Here is the beautiful prawn curry that we watched her prepare fresh. Like I said, just going to grab a little bit of everything because there's so many different dishes. This one is dried fish. Looks like little anchovies. And then this one is a root, type of root vegetable, curried root vegetable. Here is another, like a leaf with grated coconut. This is a pork curry. Tons of different things. So many vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. Here's the dal. Grab that and look at how beautiful that plate is. And that's not it, we've still got one more. This is a banana blossom cutlet. Super unique. And then papadum, the little fried cracker. Beautiful spread of food. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Let's sit down and eat. So typically you're gonna eat this with your hands here in Sri Lanka, but we are at a 5-star resort. Even though it looks like we're in a Sri Lankan village, I'm gonna use my cutlery here, and I'm gonna start with the prawn curry that she just cooked up fresh. Yum. Really plump prawn. It's got a nice bounciness to it, and a hint of spice. You can taste that coconut milk in there. Yum. Chicken curry next. Yum. Similar taste to the prawn. Very tender chicken. Okay, let's try this big chunk of tuna, blackened tuna. Yum. I wasn't expecting that at all. It's actually quite sour. I think they added quite a bit of tamarind in there. Chase it with a pamadon. Some texture, some crunch. Yum. This is the banana blossom cutlet. So deep fried banana blossom. Yum. Really creamy. Yeah, you get that sort of floral flavor to it. Really unique flavor, actually. You can taste it. It's not just like a fried cutlet. You can actually taste the banana blossom on the inside. Potato. If you are a vegetarian, Sri Lanka is the place for you. I mean, we've definitely got some meat dishes on our plate, but there are so many different vegetarian dishes here in Sri Lanka. It's just never-ending abundance of vegetarian food, and they just cook it so well, so full of flavor. Like that potato. Yum. Here is the dal, the lentils that she's just cooked up fresh for us. Yeah, that one's one that you can find at pretty much every table in Sri Lanka. Whenever you're having a rice and curry, you're gonna have the dal, the lentils, super creamy, coconut milk. You can taste that smoky wood fire she cooked it on too. This is a pork curry. Try it with a little bit of this leaf. It's like a sweet caramelized pork curry, and it's sort of like a jerky pork, kind of lean, chewy, dry tasting. And then you can taste the coconut in those leaves as well. Actually goes really well together. So we're just making our way around the plate. I think this is our last dish. This one's the root vegetable. Let's try this. Crunchy. There's such a variety of flavor too. Even though a lot of it's curried, of course a lot of it has the curry leaves in it and red chili and similar ingredients. You get a completely different flavor palette going around the plate. There's so much different flavor, from sweet, salty, spicy, savory. And then to mix up the texture with the crunchy papadum. What a meal. Out of all the dishes, I gotta give it up for this prawn curry. Maybe it's just because I get to watch the entire process, but it's just so fresh and delicious. The prawns are so bouncy. And this style of eating you're going to find is served for lunch, breakfast, and dinner here in Sri Lanka. You're basically having rice and curry every single day. Maybe it's gonna be substituting the rice for something like the string hoppers, or the egg hoppers, or maybe the pittu or the roti. But for sure you're gonna have a variety of curries, and like I said earlier, a lot of those usually are vegetarian, so you have just such a plethora of different dishes and flavors here in Sri Lanka. It's really such a rich culinary country. Those prawns are awesome.
So this is my first time in Sri Lanka, and I might not be as food expert at what to say, but what I sense and what I feel from the food here is they don't need to use like too many seasoning to cook the food. They just use like salt and pepper and like normal ingredients, but the food tastes really good. And I like that because you can taste like the real taste of like prawns or like each ingredient that they put in the food. And I feel like if you are a curry lover or like vegetarian, Sri Lanka is like best place for you, like dream destination.
One thing that Sri Lanka is extremely famous for is their fresh and abundance of coconuts. So they actually just grabbed this coconut off the tree this morning, and look at this presentation. It's so beautiful. I think they were going for an elephant, if you can see it with the two ears here. This thing, I can tell, oh yeah, it's full. So let's give it a sip. Oh man, wow, that is so good. They just brought out the most beautiful southern Sri Lankan spread I've seen ever, and let me introduce what we've got on the plate. So it starts with a bed of rice, of course, with some cashews. Then we've got the Ambulthiyal, the tempered potatoes. We've got a brinjal curry, which is eggplant curry, sambal, coconut sambal. We've got dal curry, a lime pickle, achar, and papadum over here. I think that's everything. It looks incredible. I'm so happy to be here. What a setting too. Let's dig in. I'm definitely going to start with the fish, the Ambulthiyal. So this is actually made with a yellowfin tuna. This is going to be my first time trying it out. Let's try. That is lovely. It's got a very unique flavor. Definitely some spice, some heat, and you can taste that sourness. It's a little sharp, but It's not like tamarind. Tamarind's really sour. That's just got a slight sourness. Wow, super soft fish too. Let's try these tempered potatoes, all kinds of onions and everything in there too. Yum. Really soft, garlicky for sure. A little bit sweet too, actually. So those are the two main dishes. Really good, but really you gotta just mix everything. That's what Sri Lanka's all about. You eat this rice with curry and just mix it all together. Some sambal, everything, some of the fish. Oh yeah. Coconut with the sour fish and the soft eggplant. Oh man. Everything tastes completely different, but it all works so well together. One of the best things about dining near the Indian Ocean here in Sri Lanka is after you're done eating with your hands, you can go wash them off in the water. Today we've come to the elephant transit home here in Uddawalawe. So this is right on the border of the national park, and this is an elephant orphanage. So unfortunately, due to civil war a few years ago, there is some landmines that have been left over, and some of the elephants are either injured or killed, and then therefore some of their babies become orphans. So they come to this transit home, they're taken care of before they're then released into Uddawalawe National Park. So today we're gonna see them feeding and taking care of the baby elephants. I'm super excited to be here, so let's go check it out. So they've got about 60 calves here, and they're feeding them milk, and then after they're finished off with the milk, they'll move to the jackfruit leaves. And what they're doing here is a really good program. They're rehabilitating them. They're not keeping them here. They're releasing them back into the wild. So they're eating the natural food of the area, and the owners are making sure to not be too nice and too friendly, so that once they are released, they're happy to go back out in the wild. And there's many ways that they may be orphaned. It's not just a landmine. Sometimes they'll fall into wells or just get lost, and maybe they'll have health problems. So there's also a veterinarian clinic here, and they're doing a really good program making sure that they're okay to be successfully released into the wild. But coming here as a tourist, especially in quarantine, is quite a special experience. Seeing them feeding, they get really close to you, and they're really cute. Just extremely cute. That was a lot of fun. So the dish that we're going to be preparing today is called kola kanda, and it's a traditional dish that is kind of like a gruel. It's almost like a porridge, and it's using all kinds of different herbs, a couple different spices here, and then the base is rice. This is very closely linked to Ayurveda kama, the traditional Sri Lankan medicine. So all of these things have their own benefits, and then we're going to be mixing them together and then trying it out. So the first step is to pound this herb here called kottu kola, and we're gonna kind of extract the juices out of it. So we've taken the juice from that herb and also some previously cooked rice, which is a special Sri Lankan rice called bird's beak rice, and we're putting it on the wood fire and gonna boil that down for a little bit. So now the chef has added a little bit of coconut milk and it's really starting to thicken up almost into like a porridge. So we've added some of the seasonings. We've got garlic, fennel seed, and cumin. So after the kolakanda is finished cooking down for a little while, this is the final result. It's a simple type of soup, and this is supposedly really good for your brain, good for memory especially. So let's try it out. Oh, it's hot. There's really not too much of a flavor. It's very, very simple, and there hasn't been any salt added at all. I can definitely taste a little bit of the garlic and a little bit of the cumin that we put into it, but the herb actually doesn't have much of a flavor at all. So we're also learning about another medicine that they produce here that uses all kinds of these exotic ingredients, all kinds of different barks and twigs and things, and they ferment it and then store it underground in clay pots, and then after 21 days or so it forms a little bit of an alcohol, and then it's used as a medicine. So we're gonna taste it right now. Oh, actually tastes really, really good. There's jaggery in it, so it's a little bit sweet and kind of tastes fruity.
Yeah, sound has to come. And then close it.
Beetroot?
Yeah.
And then this one is spinach back here?
Yeah.
Spinach, yeah.
See, now it's become this color, getting that
brown color?
brown color. So I will just go around it. Now it's jump in your table.
Cool.
Eggs. Now, yeah, sounds is good.
So hoppers are a very traditional Sri Lankan breakfast item, and the way that he makes it is he uses a rice flour batter with some water, some coconut, and sugar, and then he lays it in a kind of miniature wok and then fries it up until it gets this nice brown caramelized color from the sugar, and then that's the hopper. And you can make all kinds of different variations. So you can crack an egg in it, it's called an egg hopper. You can also, we have a couple new wave style hoppers. So we've got beetroot, which has just been mixed into the batter, and also spinach. He's gonna make one with chicken. So there's all kinds of different things you can do, and it's such a beautiful setting here down by the lake.
So sounds good. Turn it on. Yeah. Oh, camera nani?
We have all the different types of hoppers here, starting with the classic one. It's just the regular hopper. This is the egg hopper, so you can see that nice sunny side up egg. Then over here we've got the kind of new wave ones. We've got this veggie one with cheese, and then this one is smoked chicken. They actually smoke the chicken in-house with cinnamon wood here. And then back here we've got the beetroot, that beautiful purple color, check that out. And then these ones that are folded over have condensed milk, and then this one's got honey. And then we've also got the spinach, this nice green one here. Wow, it's so colorful. And there's a couple different toppings we actually have to eat them with, or sambals here. So we've got the super spicy kind, this one's just coconut sambal, and this is like a sweet onion sambal. And beautiful setting, once again, here right on the lake. So let's dig in. Let me start with the egg hopper and just listen to this. Oh, it's so crispy. So I'll rip a little bit of that off. It actually gets kind of soft in the middle, and maybe just go in for a little bit of that yolk and then a little bit of the coconut sambal too. It's crispy and chewy at the same time. That sambal is definitely a little bit spicy. You can taste the coconut both in the sambal and in the batter. and it also has a little bit of a sweetness, but it's definitely not too much. Very simple, but also a really unique way of eating different things here in Sri Lanka. Usually you can have these hoppers with curries or whatever you want. So I'm gonna try the beetroot one. I'm not sure there's gonna be much of the flavor of the beetroot, but more just for the presentation, and I'll try it with a little bit of sweet onion sambal. I guess there is a little bit of an earthy flavor. I really just love the texture with the crunchy outside and then the soft kind of chewy inside. And then that sweet onion sambal is nice too. Let me try it by itself. Yeah, there's a little bit of an earthy vegetable beetroot flavor, but really not too much. So this one is really interesting. It's the smoked chicken. There's some tomatoes, and I don't think I'm gonna eat this one with the sambal. I'm kind of just gonna wrap it up like a taco almost. Oh, yum. Yum. That works really well, actually. Nice smoky chicken. And get those tart tomatoes in there. Now this one is almost like dessert. It's been folded over because there's been honey put on the inside, and you can distinguish it from the regular ones because the honey kind of soaked right in. Yum. Yeah, that's nice and sweet. Almost just like a pancake. This one's almost been a little bit too saturated. It's not as crispy as the others. Let's go try out one of these famous Sri Lankan king coconuts. So you can see here we're at this little tiny roadside stall selling fresh king coconuts, and they're called king coconut for a reason because these things are a very, very important Sri Lankan ingredient. You can find them in just about everything, but having them fresh is definitely one of my favorite ways. And you can see that they've got this really unique orange color to them. And this stall that we're at is just kind of like a little shack, but they've got all kinds of these fresh coconuts. Just check all these out. So we're gonna order one up, try it out fresh. So she also has a bottle of it. It's cold, cooled, and with some of the flesh inside. Very cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we have our super fresh coconut here, the king coconut, orange in color, and I'm really excited to try this out. Coconut water is one of my favorite things in the world. Oh man, that is the perfect way to start the day. You can just taste that is so nutritious and healthy. A little bit sweet, almost a little bit sour. Oh, that coconut's falling all around me here. That is so good though. It actually has a slight kind of tart, maybe a little bit sourness to it. And you can tell that this is the king coconut for a reason because that is so flavorful and delicious. And widely available here in Sri Lanka too. So apparently the one that we just tried was kind of a young coconut, young king coconut. This one's more matured, and apparently it's gonna be a little bit sweeter. Oh yeah. That sourness is almost completely gone. It's definitely got a stronger coconut flavor and a little bit of a sweetness. And there is so much water inside of these. They are absolutely full. So after you're finished off with the coconut water inside, they'll actually split it open for you and break a little piece off the husk on the outside. And you can just use it to scrape some of the meat, the coconut meat on the inside. And look at that. Actually, it comes off quite easy. And you can just eat this. So you got basically a full meal here with one coconut. Oh man. And that is very sweet, very strong coconut flavor. Man, this is like, honestly, fruit lover's dream come true. Look at that. Oh, there's a lot of meat in there. Wow. Oh, I've got a little bit of coconut juice on the lens here. That was so delicious. Honestly, I can easily say that was the best coconut I've ever had. The water inside is just so flavorful, and you can just tell it's so nutritious. perfect way to start the day. We're gonna jump back in the car and keep heading though. Probably make a couple more stops before we reach Nallur Temple. So we are making our next stop. We are in Nallur Temple, kind of on the outskirts of the city. We're going to get a little snack before we make a proper lunch. We have an exciting lunch planned for today, but we're stopping first to get a little snack. So we popped into this local restaurant. They're serving all kinds of different things. They're frying rice. They have all kinds of different Sri Lankan foods, but one thing that our guide recommended is that we try the shorties, which is these different baked or fried pastries. So they bring out the whole tray to your table, and then you can pick and choose what you want to try. So I'll introduce these if I can remember them all to you. We've got a little muffin here. This is just a plain bun. This is another bun with onion. This over here is a fried veggie roll. This is an egg pastry, veggie pastry. We've got the Veddah, which is with the onions. Back here we've got the patties. Over here we've got another bun, it looks like with cucumber, lettuce, and tomato. I can't remember exactly what's in this one. I think it's just vegetable again. This one's cool. It's called crocodile bun, and it's coated with sugar. So I'm actually gonna try, I think, maybe I'll try one of these egg pastries. So very flaky, you can see, and I'll break it open so we can take a look inside. And actually it's still quite warm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's actually egg, like a whole half-boiled egg in there, and then some, looks like maybe potato, onion mixture with tons of spices. Let's try that. There's definitely some dried fish in there. Very flaky on the outside, and I don't think it's a dried fish, but they have a special ingredient here, which is a cured tuna, and they call it the Maldive fish. And I believe there's a little bit of that in there, a little bit of heat, so I think there's some chili, and there was a half-boiled egg inside, but just look at how flaky it is on top. This is an interesting way to eat with all of the pastries laid out in front of you. Okay, I'm gonna try this one next. This one is, instead of being baked, this is fried, and this is stuffed with vegetables. You can see it's quite crispy on the outside. I was told that I should put a little bit of ketchup on top of this. Try it with a little bit of that. It's actually not as crispy as I thought it was gonna be at all. So that one is really dense, very doughy, and kind of chewy, and good with the ketchup. Once again, there's some spiced vegetables inside, a little bit of heat, but not too much. Actually, I like that one better than the pastry, and it tastes nice with the ketchup. Okay, I'm gonna try one more. This is the crocodile bun, which I thought just has a cool name, so I wanted to try it. This is sweet. You can see it's coated in sugar, and let's break this open. I don't think it's stuffed with anything. Nope. Let's try that. It's very similar to a Vienna roll, kind of like a hot dog bun coated in sugar. There's not much to it. It's sweet and nice little snack though. Something interesting to note about tea here in Sri Lanka, if you're going to order tea, that means with milk. You have to ask for plain tea if you don't want it with milk. And typically they'll use powdered milk too, just because there's not enough fresh milk to go around, so they're powdering a lot of it so it can keep longer. I love it. Finished off with our little snack. That was delicious. We're now heading to pick up a local here in Nallur Temple, and we're going to start prepping our lunch, but it's going to take a couple hours before we actually get to eat. So we're just going to head there now and see what we're gonna have. Okay, we're at the place to buy some ingredients. We're buying some fish, I believe. So we've got two different types of fish. One is a smaller and one is a larger type of fish, both lake fish varieties, and we're going to take those back to the local's house to start cooking. So luckily the local fish dealer is just down the street from the local's house that we will be cooking lunch at, so that's this house behind me. So we're gonna go inside and meet the family and see what they're cooking. So we're in the locals' kitchen now. They're cleaning up the fresh fish that we just bought. They're using a little bit of tamarind, lime, and salt just to remove the smell and also to clean the fish. And we've got a couple of dishes going, dal curry and also lotus root. And now I just see that they're starting a fire and we're going to be cooking, I believe, the fish on the fire. So you can see behind me here, she's started a fire. She has the pot on top and it heated up very, very fast. She's frying up some onions, garlic, some cinnamon, and garcinia, which is a type of fruit. They're going to also put the fish in here soon. So the lid is on the pot and the fire is going. That curry has to go for a little while, and we're starting the second dish, which is going to be a fried lake fish, the smaller variety of the fish that we bought. Okay, thank you. So the owners of the house just gave us a fresh papaya juice from their garden, and check this out too, they also put some ice cream on top of it, which is pretty interesting. So let me give this a try here. Wow, yeah, strong papaya flavor, a little bit sour and sweet from that ice cream. I'm gonna kind of like mix that ice cream all in there. Whoa. Yeah, that is refreshing. Served nice and cool. Perfect thing to have while we wait for the curries to be prepared and the fried fish. So all the dishes are finished, and what's going to happen next is that we're going to take some rice and then take all the different curries that we prepared and put them all on top of a lotus leaf. And traditionally they will wrap the lotus leaf up, leave it for maybe a couple hours just to let those flavors really seep into that rice and almost marinate.
Podi khana de meala. Kiyanne be kelna.
That's very smell.
So it's quite common across the world to use banana leaves to eat off of, but this is the first time I think I've ever seen eating off of a lotus leaf. So she starts with the lotus leaf, puts quite a lot of white rice on top of that, then a few different curries. So dal curry, a lotus root curry, then of course our fish curry, and also a salad of pennywort, Asiatic pennywort. And then she wraps it all up at the end with a little bit of paper in order to just let those flavors really mix in and soak in together. And I know in like about an hour or two, that's gonna taste so, so good. So I have a piece of the freshly fried fish in coconut oil. These are the small fish, lake fish. Let me try. Oh, wow, wow. Wow, that is super crispy. Thank you so much. So we've got our lotus leaves. These are quite heavy. There's a ton of rice in here. We're gonna let those go for a couple hours, and I think we're gonna do a little sightseeing around Anuradhapura. So we just arrived at the main attraction here in Anuradhapura, and that is the ancient ruins of the city. And on this site, there is the Bodhi tree, which I will tell you about in a little bit, but a very, very important religious Buddhist site, and also the stupa, very large stupa, which houses some very important relics. I will also tell you about that when we get there. But this is the ancient ruins of Anuradhapura, which is the ancient capital of Sri Lanka. So I'm excited to check this out. This is the main reason people like to come to this city here in Sri Lanka. So this is it behind me here, the Bodhi tree. So what the Bodhi tree is an actual tree in India where Buddha found enlightenment sitting beneath the tree. So then there was a clipping taken from that particular Bodhi tree and brought here to Sri Lanka and planted in the 3rd century BC. So nowadays it's a very, very important pilgrimage site for Buddhists. You can see behind me here, it is absolutely beautiful. There's this kind of temple built around it. Everyone is wearing white and it's just very peaceful. You can tell that it's something very important. We were just told if you wanted to explore the full complex, it would take you about 2 days because this place is so huge. There's lots to see. There's also lots of wildlife. We saw some parrots and we also saw some really cool monkeys. So a lot of fun to explore, and we're on our way now to the stupa. So you can see behind me here, this is the stupa. It is absolutely huge. And what this is something that is housing the right collarbone of Buddha. Also his belt and his meal bowl. And I can assure you, it is much bigger than it looks on your screen right now. It is in the dome shape with a spire coming at the top, and then the pinnacle of the spire is gold plated. Absolutely beautiful. We're not gonna get too close, no pictures allowed in there. We're just going to see it from afar. So amazing. This is really, really cool, guys. So we've brought our lotus leaf lunches down to this lake here. There's people swimming in the lake. There's like grassy areas and sandy areas, and we're gonna have a little bit of a picnic. So we're sitting down now for our picnic. It is extremely windy out down here. It looks like some bad weather's rolling in, but it's time to eat our lotus leaf. So you can see it's been kind of steeping, if you will, for the last 2 hours with all those curries completely infusing into that rice. So we've got our large lake fish here, our lotus curry, dal, the pennywort salad, and then our fried fish over here. So I'm actually just gonna take a little bit of everything, some of that dal, some of the salad, and some of those lotus roots, and some of this fish. Oh man, that fish looks delicious. And mix that all up with some rice and try that together. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. That is a complete flavor bomb. All of those ingredients mixed together go so well. The lotus root is a little bit almost crisp still. The dal, super, super soft. The fish is nice and meaty. And then that salad gives it kind of a nice fresh kick. And then that rice has completely soaked in all the flavor. This is true Sri Lankan picnic, if you will. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna break off a little bit of this fried fish, mix it maybe with a lotus root, some rice. Once again, you can just taste that home cooked, made with love kind of flavor. The joy of this is just mixing all of the ingredients together. These two different types of fish, the fried fish and the curried fish. And then you gotta get some of this dal and gotta get some of these lotus roots as well. Salad, mix it all together, and that is just the ultimate bite. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, that was so good. Really filling. There's a ton of rice there. It looks like the rain's coming in, but really beautiful setting. Seriously worth it. That was so delicious. So we just pulled over on the side of the road. We're on our way to our final destination of Habarana, which is near Sigiriya, which our next episode will feature. But we're stopping to try mangoes with chili salt, which is a very popular snack here in Sri Lanka. So we're just at another one of these roadside fruit stalls like we were this morning for the coconut. Let's go check it out.
A little earlier.
Whoa, it smells like blue cheese.
Yeah, almost exactly like blue cheese.
Whoa, yeah. if I was an elephant, I would just eat the whole thing. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, it smells really cool.
We also spotted they have something else that we wanted to try, and that is the wood apple. I haven't tried it yet, so we ordered one of those up, and he kind of just banged it on the pole to break it open. And the outside of it has a strong odor, but the inside is not the same. But I've never actually tasted a wood apple, so I'm interested to see. We have the inside, and she's mixed it with sugar. Oh wow, the flavor is really good though. With the sugar, it almost tastes like a prune, like a sour prune, almost with like a little bit of a tamarind flavor. That's a lot better than it smells, that's for sure. Actually, I like that a lot. So she has prepared our mango with the chili salt. You can see some chili flakes and salt on top there. And I'll just kind of peel this back. Oh yeah, there's a lot of chili salt on there. Let me try that. I've never had mango with chili before. Wow, very salty. Wow, the mango is not that sweet and it's not that sour either. The mango flavor is strong, but it's completely overpowered by the salt. Oh, I prefer it by itself, to be honest. I don't think I like it with the salt. The chili's okay, but really, really salty. They have all kinds of fruits here, lots of watermelon, a couple different varieties of mangoes, of course the wood apples, they also have bananas. They have it all here, and the wood apple is way better than I thought it was going to taste because the smell is just really potent. But that mango with the salt, I think they just put a little bit too much salt on it for my preference. We have made it to the Ministry of Crab. The building that this restaurant is housed in alone is already so cool. It's actually a 400-year-old Dutch hospital, so very historical feeling, and a very modern yet beautiful restaurant housed in this historic building. So we're just checking out the inside of the restaurant. We're going to head into the kitchen here in a minute. One interesting feature of this restaurant is the sizing chart. You can see behind me here, they have all different sizes of crabs. They're all wild-caught crabs, delivered 3 or more times a week, and they go all the way up to Crabzilla, which is the largest. Unfortunately, they don't have that today. They only have the OMG, which I think we're going to order. Thank you. We have our drink, and they told us they don't serve any Coca-Cola or nothing like that here, so they actually home make their own soda, and it's an iced tea soda. So let's try this. Oh yeah, really good. Nice lime flavor and quite carbonated. Have the menu here, and it's a little bit different than your typical menu. So they actually have a constitution because this is the Ministry of Crab. So a couple different things about the specifications of how they serve the crabs and how to eat it. And then on the back side, they have the amendments or the menu. So they've picked out a menu for us, so we actually don't know exactly what we're going to be getting, but I know it's gonna be good. Our first appetizer has arrived, and really cool way of serving it. So it's actually served on a cricket bat, which is one of the most popular sports here in Sri Lanka. 2 of the owners are actually former captains of the Sri Lankan cricket team. So we've got oysters served chilled in almost like a shot glass on top of this bat. We've got 6 of them here, and I'm gonna dress them up with some of the condiments that we were given. So we've got 2 different sauces. One is a house-made soy sauce, which is aged in-house, and then also a house-made hot sauce. And then over here we've got a lime that has been folded up with some cheesecloth just to protect the seeds from falling out. So I'm gonna take the soy sauce. I'll just do one now for myself and do a little drip of soy sauce, a little bit of hot sauce. I love how they're served in test tubes too. Oh, that might have been a little bit of too much hot sauce, but that's okay. And a little squeeze of lime. All right, got my little Ministry of Crab flag toothpick. Swirl it around a little bit here, and let's try, oh man, this fresh raw oyster. Oh yeah. Oh, that hot sauce is phenomenal. Really, really fresh tasting. Sometimes when you eat oysters, you might have some of that grittiness in there. None of that, very, very smooth. That hot sauce is just incredible. Oh man, perfect starter. All right, our next appetizer has arrived. This is another one of their signature dishes. This is the crab liver pate, and it is served with palm sugar. So you can see this palm sugar served in tiny little beaker, and then it's meant to be spread on this bread. So I believe it's made with the tamale of the crab, and it is bright yellow in color. So I'm gonna prepare myself up a little cracker and try now. So here is the liver pate. You can see bright yellow in color. And grab one of these crisped up breads, almost like a cracker, and grab some of this pate. Oh man, that is like liquid gold. Tiny bit of this palm sugar. Oh, let's try that. Wow, that is unique. The flavor is definitely seafoody, but it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. It's like cream. So good. Finish off with the appetizers. We are heading into the kitchen now to see the main dishes preparation. That is big. So how much is that, like 1.5 kg or?
1.7.
1.7? Wow. That is a serious crab. All right. So we just asked for them to bring out their largest crab. This is 1.7 kg Sri Lankan lagoon crab. Just check out the size of that claw. That thing is huge. Look at that. That's bigger than my head. Much bigger than my head. 1.7 kg. Wow. Man.
Does it feel heavy?
It feels about 1.7 kgs, so my arm's getting a little tired holding this thing up. Yeah, man, I am excited to taste this. Look at those claws. Wow, that is a serious crustacean. Okay, we're getting suited up for the kitchen. It is hairnet time. We'll go inside, but we can't reveal the whole process because it is secret, so let's go inside. How does this look? All right, I think that's good.
Like a lunch lady.
Lunch lady? Yeah, okay. Oh, thank you. All right, getting our little bib. Keep calm, crab on. Thank you very much. Very cool.
It's a huge garlic chili prawn.
Okay, wow. Thank you very much. All right, our chili prawn has arrived. Man, garlic chili. Wow, that smells absolutely incredible. So we do have some utensils. We have the crab claw cracker and also the little pick here, but I'm actually just gonna go in with my fingers and just tear. Oh, I don't even have to, they've already removed it. Oh, wow, look at the size of the tail of this prawn. That is honestly the size of a lot of lobster tails that I've seen. So they've actually removed the shell of the tail, so I'm just gonna go in and take a huge bite of this. That is some seriously soft meat. The flavor of that sauce is just so robust. There's so much going on there. Strong garlic, strong chili, a little bit of heat, but not as spicy as I thought it was going to be, and very buttery. And I just took about as big as a bite as I could, and there's still another whole bite on there. Oh man, that is incredible. I gotta get my pick to get this out. Wow, there's so much meat. Oh man, that sauce is so good. Oh, a little bit spicier that time. So we are told that these prawns are quite unique because of the amount of meat that is inside of the prawn, and you can see it in there. I'm gonna have to pick that out. Oh wow, and look at all that tamale that's coming out with it too. Wow. That is like pure butter. Wow, the texture. I've never tasted a prawn that was so tender. Oh man, there is a lot going on inside there. Just look at the size of the head of this thing. So I have some of the kade bread, which they have mentioned is wood fired, and spread some butter on top, and this is going to be the perfect device for soaking up all of that sauce and some of those prawn head juices that have seeped out. Look at that. Wow, with the butter too. Wow, that saturates completely with that sauce. And butter, slightly salty. All right, round two in the kitchen, going for the crab now. Things are definitely starting to pick up in the kitchen here. They're cooking all kinds of different crabs. Our black pepper crab is in one of those woks back there. It smells absolutely incredible, and these chefs are doing an incredible job too. What do you think of this kitchen, Sabrina?
Amazing. It's really cool to see them doing their thing out here. It's all very calculated.
So I'm with the chef and owner here, Darshan. The food is absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
And congratulations on number 35, Asia's top 50. That is absolutely incredible.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, and we're
Which pepper you get?
Black pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. Size? I think it was the colossal. Yeah.
That's right. The lights off now.
Oh yeah, the lights off because we got the last one.
Yeah.
What is your favorite?
Garlic chili crab.
Garlic chili? Oh, okay.
It brings out the flavor of the crab the most.
Oh, okay. But the black pepper, it's the most traditional Sri Lankan, correct?
So chili crab, pepper crab are not necessarily traditional Sri Lankan crab dishes.
Yeah, okay.
They got favors in Singapore.
Okay.
And I think the pepper crab we make here is unique to us, how we make it.
Right.
And it has more Japanese principles in the cooking process of making dashi out of black pepper.
Okay, you make dashi out of black pepper. Okay, and then you mix it with the crab.
And that brings, so that the gravy that you get has a lot of crab flavor inside it.
Oh, very cool. That is very
something unique to us.
Yeah, and the Japanese influence is strong, and you can feel it. It's very cool. Very interesting. The moment we have been waiting for, the crab has arrived. So there's a few different options, as we mentioned earlier, but we ordered the black pepper, and I was just talking with Chef Darshan, and he said that they actually use a black pepper dashi stock. This is about 1.7 kg, so this thing is seriously huge. Just check that out. It is absolutely beautiful, swimming in that black pepper gravy. And just check out the size of those claws. I gotta put this down. This is heavy, but just look at this claw. That is absolutely huge. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a crab claw quite that big. I don't want to break the meat underneath, but I want to see if I can kind of peel this away without breaking. Oh man, look at that. Wow. Oh, I broke a little bit of the meat. Wow, okay. This is absolutely huge. I'm gonna have to get in there dirty and get some gravy to put on top of this. Oh, it's really slippery. Oh man, that is gonna be absolutely delicious. All right, let's try it out. I've been waiting, ever since I knew that we were coming to Sri Lanka, I knew that I wanted to eat this black pepper crab at the Ministry of Crab, so now the time has arrived. Moment of silence. Wow. 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 Although you may assume that the black pepper would overpower the flavor of the crab, that certainly is not the case here. You can taste that sweet, succulent crab meat, but also at the same time, that rich black pepper, slightly spicy, and a slight sweetness too. Just look at that. That is the meatiest crab I've ever eaten by far. There is so much meat in there. There's a lot to get at, but that first bite was just absolute bliss. Let me try to get, what do I have here? Oh, I've got my pick back here. I'm gonna pick some of this meat out. Try one more bite. Oh yeah, look at all that. What? That is such a meaty crab. Oh man, that black pepper. That is such a strong black pepper flavor. I've never tasted anything quite like that. Wow, this is so good. There's so much meat on this crab. Typically when you have a crab, it's mainly the meat is coming from the claw, but there is meat hiding all over the place. Like these kind of arms or the joint. There is so much meat in there. Look at all that. They've kind of helped you out by cracking some of these open partially, and then you can just kind of pick away at everything else. Oh man. That is an incredible flavor. I'm gonna go in and try a new part. I'm gonna try one of these lags, try to break one of these off, break it there, and oh yeah, there's a ton of meat in there. I'm gonna have to use my pick to get that out. Crack this open a little bit so I can get at that meat easier. Man, guys, this is just so good. I've never had a crab like this before. Of course, lobster has a lot of meat in it, but crab is my preferred crustacean. Man, look at this. Oh, the lag is always my favorite. You can taste the sweetness of the crab even better. We are finished off with our meal. Everything was absolutely delicious. So we've got this little bowl here with black tea. It also has an Ayurvedic disinfectant and also some herbs and flour. And yeah, just to use to wash your hands. And oh, it smells really good. And you definitely need this after a messy meal like that. Whew, and it's served warm. All right, it is time for dessert, and this is something that's actually not on the menu yet. We are the first people to try it, so very honored. And this is a Sri Lankan take on a creme brulee. This is coconut creme brulee using coconut milk inside and then served right in the coconut shell. You can see here, and that nice crispy layer from being torched on top. Wow, that looks really good. Let's dig into it. You can see this kind of, oh yeah, very hard layer on top. Listen to that. Wow, that is rock solid. So break through. Make sure I get lots of cream underneath. Oh man, this looks absolutely beautiful. Man, wow. I love coconut, and that is like pure coconut sweetness. Crunchy on the top, but perfectly velvety smooth underneath. So creamy. Oh man, that is so good. Rich coconut flavor. Look at how creamy that is. Almost a little bit smoky too. This layer on top is so hard, it's like a chip, but it's not too hard. Just perfectly crispy. Look at that. It's almost like a mousse underneath. Decadent. Wow. Really light, but strong flavor. We are finished off at the Ministry of Crab. What an incredible meal. That was life-changing. You can see the old Dutch hospital behind me here. We are super full, super happy to have tried that off-menu dessert as well. So we're gonna... Nice to meet you. So here in Jaffna, we are basically at the northernmost part of the island of Sri Lanka. It's very interesting history. Most of the people here are Tamil, Hindus, and we've come to the fish market area on the outskirts of the city. It's just a small fish market, but we're gonna go inside and check it out. So you can see that the fish market is right on the side of the ocean here, the Indian Ocean. All the boats, all the fishermen are parked in here, and the fish market is right behind me. Really breezy, nice and windy. This is very authentic and rural feeling. Although this is quite a small market and the catch doesn't seem like it's the best today, it is still quite busy with locals, very busy. It seems as though they're kind of doing an auction style, so calling out the different products that they have and then bargaining for the prices. So now that we've been here a little bit longer, I'm understanding how it works better. So it seems as though the fishermen are coming directly in from fishing and then bring their catch immediately to the fish market and then start the auction right away. So it doesn't get much fresher than that. Okay. So I'm here with Ashok. He is a local and he's actually going to be sourcing our fresh seafood for the cool soup, right? Yeah. Yeah, and we'll go back to his house later and cook it up. So we're gonna trust you to pick the best fish. Okay, awesome. So we are now at Ashok's family home. You can see this blue house behind me, beautiful in this tiny little street in a suburb here of Jaffna. So let's go inside and see what's up for lunch. So I'm not sure about all of the dishes that we're preparing today, but the one that I know for sure is called cool soup. So it's actually a spicy soup with tons of different types of seafood. So we had 2 different types of crab, one big blue crab and some smaller crabs. There's prawns, there's cuttlefish, and there's some fish as well. So they're just setting up now. They're gonna put some vegetables in and we're going to watch them prepare the cool soup. So the family has just started cooking the second dish, which is a prawn curry. The cool soup is all ready to go. It's boiling away in the pot. It's gonna take, I think, about an hour. And we're just kind of relaxing, waiting for lunch to be ready. Really cool, authentic experience in a true, typical Sri Lankan home. She's preparing the prawn curry, sauteing the vegetables first, added bell peppers, green bell peppers, then added the onions, and then garlic. Also some mustard seed oil with fenugreek and salt. And I think that's just about everything. It smells absolutely incredible. Now it's time to add the prawns. It becomes very evident why Sri Lankan cuisine is so flavorful when you watch them prepare the dish from start to finish. There is a ton of ingredients in there. So the next step is mixing tamarind with coconut milk. So she's got these big chunks of tamarind and just mixing it right into that coconut milk. It's gonna add some creaminess and also some sourness to that curry. So besides the prawn curry and the cool soup, the seafood soup, there is also a crab curry, which they are preparing Jaffna style. Really grateful to be having this opportunity to experience a local Sri Lankan family home-cooked meal. And we are just relaxing until the chefs are finished preparing the meal, getting really hungry, and it smells absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
Just about everything is finished now. The cool soup is coming together. They just added the chili to the cool soup, and let me tell you, he put the whole bag in. That was a ton of chili, so I know it's gonna be quite spicy. It smells so good. We're ready to eat. The time has come. Our cool soup is prepared. So after about 2 hours of it boiling away, we have the finished product, and it's served, I love this, in the coconut shell. Look at that, that's so cool, just as a bowl. And you can see in here, there is so many different types of seafood. So there's 3 types of fish, 2 different types of crabs, cuttlefish, prawns, and tons of vegetables and spice as well. And I'm just gonna go in and just sip this directly from the coconut husk. Oh man. Wow, that was phenomenal. Actually, I thought it was gonna be a lot spicier. It's not as spicy as I thought. The fish has completely disintegrated, so it's a very thick broth, almost like a seafood chowder, but definitely with that Sri Lankan spicious mixture. And look inside here, you can see we've got the whole crabs, so that meat has just completely infused into the broth with all kinds of vegetables. Oh, look at all these big pieces of cuttlefish. Let's try this. So the family just actually added some black pepper to the mix. They said that they forgot to add it, so I should try it again. And I've got another bowl here, so let me try it with the black pepper this time. Oh yeah, you can definitely taste the difference. It reminds me even more of seafood chowder at this point with the black pepper flavor. This is such a hearty, nutritious dish. So home cooked, homemade. Doesn't really get much better than this. The main course has arrived. I am so excited to try this. Just check this out. We have 4 different things all on a nice bed of white rice. So the first is the prawn curry, which we saw them making with all kinds of different ingredients, lots of chili, tamarind. We also have a crab curry back here made with coconut milk. Again, just tons of ingredients. This is like a fried cabbage with turmeric, and I see tons of curry leaves in there. And then over here is brinjal, which is Sri Lankan eggplant, and again with turmeric and mashed up. Man, this looks absolutely delicious. I am ready to dig in. All right, I have to start with this prawn curry. I've been looking forward to trying this, and here in Sri Lanka you gotta eat with your fingers. And I'll get some rice, some of those prawns. Oh man, that is gonna be so good. Wow, I thought that was gonna be spicier again, and it wasn't as spicy as I thought. Those prawns are so tender. I can taste those curry leaves definitely, and definitely a little bit of sourness from that tamarind. There's sweetness coming from somewhere, maybe just the prawn itself. Wow, that's so good. Okay, let's chase this with a little bit of the brinjal, this eggplant with turmeric. Yeah, no spice to that one. Just that natural eggplant flavor. You can taste the turmeric in there. Very, very soft. Okay, what's next? I'm gonna grab, oh man, that eggplant is so good. I'm gonna grab this crab, see what I can do with it. That has a nice like seafood flavor. Taste it with a bit of rice. Oh man, this is worth the wait. Okay, we have one more dish to try here. The fried cabbage. You can see those curry leaves in there. Let me grab some of this, again with some rice. The cabbage is actually still pretty crisp. It's got a little bit of a crunch to it. And once again, you can taste some sourness from tamarind in there. Wow, this is so good, but I have to give it up for this brinjal and this prawn. Maybe just mix these two together. I love eggplant, it's one of my favorite things in the world. And then with this prawn curry and rice, it's absolutely incredible. I still have to work on my eating with my hand skills. Whew, I am stuffed after that. We started with that thick stew, the cool soup, and that was quite hearty, but this definitely filled me up with all of that rice. But let me tell you, that has got to go down in the books as one of the best meals of my life. That prawn curry is out of this world. It is not too spicy, a little bit sweet. You can taste the tamarind in there. Just incredible flavors. So many ingredients, so much care, so much love, and you can taste all of that when you have a home cooked meal like this. And yeah, that just blew my mind. I'm stuffed. I can't finish the last little bit of rice. Whew.
Food coma.
Bye-bye. Okay, bye. Bye. Whew, I am stuffed after that, but that was an incredible experience. I can't even begin to explain how delicious that was. That prawn curry was probably the top 5 dishes of my life. Absolutely incredible. What do you guys think?
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Delicious?
Incredible. Best experience, delicious food, awesome people. They were so kind. It was really, really great.
You say vanakkam.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Varivai ganda gadul tarvai ganda Valli jivai davani Vanamayil vaganani Valli jivai davani Vanamayil vaganani.
We are here at the Nallur Temple. This is an important Hindu site here in Jaffna, one of the main attractions in the city. Unfortunately, to go inside, you cannot take any pictures, and you actually have to remove your t-shirt, and of course you need to be covering your knees and no shoes. So we're not going to go inside, but it's kind of a complex, so there's still a lot to see. It's still worth coming to see. Lots of traditional culture going on here, Hindu religious culture. Very, very interesting. So there's one last stop before the end of the day, and that is to get dessert. There's an ice cream place right beside the Nallur Temple called Rio Ice Cream. So we're going to go over there, get ourselves some ice cream. We are at Rio Ice Cream. This is the most popular joint for desserts here in Jaffna. If you look online, this place has like 3,000 or more Google reviews, which is basically 3,000 more reviews than anywhere else in the city. Not really, but it's definitely the #1 rated place. So really excited to try it out. We just ordered up a couple different kinds. I ordered the Sunday special, so it's gonna be good. Thank you. Okay, my ice cream has arrived. I have the Sunday special. We've got 2 scoops of ice cream. Looks like vanilla and chocolate with, I believe this is probably strawberry syrup on top, some crushed cashews, chocolate over here, some chocolate sauce. Looks like a candied cherry or something on top. So maybe I'll just try a little bit of this. This is gonna be good. It is quite hot here in Jaffna. Wow, that's pretty good. I don't usually like strawberry syrup on top of ice cream, but that's really good. It's actually quite sweet, and the syrup is really sour. And some crunchy cashew nuts on top. Let's try this chocolate one. This was just chocolate with chocolate syrup. Oh yeah, it's nice and crispy. Oh, this is so good. Oh yeah. That was mighty good ice cream, and it's nice and AC'd in here. I can see why this is a popular place. This is really refreshing on a hot day in Sri Lanka.
I got the mix.
So we've come out in the jungle to this little village setup where there's a couple women working here, and they're going to be making us a couple different types of Sri Lankan New Year foods. So this is very common for the women of the village to gather and cook different types of food this time of year. And the first one they're going to be preparing is called Ambulthiyal. So this area is famous for the rice, and they have all kinds of different varieties of rice here in Sri Lanka. We're using swundel, the variety swundel, for the first dish that we're cooking today, Ambulthiyal, and it's going to be a sweet treat. So the first step is to steam the rice using wood fire, and then she's preparing some coconut milk as well. While the rice is cooking away, she's making the filling for the Ambulthiyal. So she starts with a little bit of sugar, burns the sugar, adds some palm syrup to it, and makes this really thick, sugary mixture, and then adds the grated coconut and also some spices that look like cardamom and cloves. And then that's going to be the filling for the Sri Lankan New Year's treat. So now they've just added some coconut milk to the rice, and they're gonna let that steam, and that's called milk rice, and that is a staple here in Sri Lanka, and it's essential for Sri Lankan New Year's to have something with milk rice.
හොඳට ගන්න අරගෙන මේකේ නෑ නෑ. ගන්න අතින් දාන්න තමයි. දැන් අතින් දාන්න. ඔව්. ඒක ගන්න. ඇටි රෝසන්.
The milk rice is finished cooking, and what they do next is they lay out a little bit of rice on, it looks like a palm leaf, and then they put that mixture of coconut and cooked down palm sugar inside, and then they roll it up just like a sushi roll, but then they twist it at the ends to make sure that it doesn't spill out any of that filling, and that's the Ambulthiyal. So it's finished. We're moving on to the next dish. So most of these have very simple, similar ingredients, and for the cookies here, we're using, starting with the coconut milk and then adding some rice flour, some wheat flour, a little bit of salt, some turmeric, and then some curry leaves, and they're actually gonna fry these up.
You kept eating it?
Yeah,
Once the batter is complete, she's heated up some oil, and using this very specific device that's only used for these cookies, she dunks it in the hot oil, waits for it to reach a specific temperature that only really she knows, I think, and then she dips it in that batter mixture, and it kind of sticks to the inside of this device. It's like a mold, and then she puts the mold into the oil once again, and after just a few seconds it starts to kind of fall off the mold, and then it creates this really unique, almost, I don't know, like clover leaf shape, and that's the cookies.
Puri tadi.
So the wali talapa is finished, and the other two dishes are finished, and now we're moving on to the fourth and final festive New Year snack, and it's called kaum, which is similar batter mixture to the cookies, but this is a sweet version, so it's based more on a jaggery syrup, and she's frying it up and kind of working it in a way so it's shaped almost like a bun, like a woman's hair in a bun, and it's kind of like a saucer with a little bit of a nipple on top. So the women have finished preparing all the different Sri Lankan New Year's festive foods. Thank you. And I'm gonna grab one of each one. And these are all fresh, hot, and wow, there's so many different types. So I think I have one of each, and we'll take it down to the river to test them out. There's a beautiful little river here, so we've just come down to taste out our snacks. We have all the 4 different varieties that the women just cooked up for us. So we have the Imbul Kiripat, this is the Weli Talapa, the cookies, and the Kaum. And I think I'm gonna try the cookie first because this is a savory one and such a cool, look at the shape of that. That is crazy looking. Let's try it out. Holy smoke. That is crunchy. Wow. It has a light curry flavor, but it's very simple. And it has a little bit of a sweetness too coming from the coconut, but really it's just all about how crunchy that is. Yum. Next up is the Weli Talapa, so the rice flour with a little bit of wheat flour, and then they mixed it in with all that jaggery, and it's really dense feeling. It's still warm. Oh yum. That was nice and sweet. It's really dense, but it also has a fluffy lightness from the rice flour that she kind of fluffed up with the water. And then it also has a coconut flavor as well. Definitely way sweeter than the last one. It's so good warm. Yum. Next up, I'm gonna try the freshly fried Kaum. I really like that one. It's lighter in flavor. It's definitely not as sweet as the Weli Talapa, and it's got a nice crunch on the outside, and the way that it's been fried in hot oil, none of the oil is seeped in, so it's dry and still kind of the same texture as the Weli Talapa on the inside, but on the outside super crispy. That was some delicious treats, and we've come to the rice paddies here. This area is very famous for their rice. They grow about 5 different types of ancient Sri Lankan wild rice here, so they don't get as high a yield, but the quality is better. And you can see all the men working in the paddies here. So we're gonna have a proper farmer's lunch, rice farmer's lunch the women have prepared for us. So just taking in the views, and we're gonna sit down and have some lunch now. So we're sitting down with the farmers now, and they gave us a lotus leaf here and a little basket, and these guys definitely deserve this meal way more than me because they've been working hard in the fields, and it is hot out here, but I'm excited to eat. First is rice, of course. Oh, thank you. Right from the patties behind me. I think it's gonna be some good rice. And looks like, oh, fried fish. Wow, okay. And a little salad. Yeah, oh, I think this looks like some kind of a patty. Oh, roti. Sweet potato roti. Thank you. Wow. Look how colorful this is. This looks amazing. Oh, and it's coming still. Oh, chili. Oh, Snoopy. So the ladies just came around and served us up a beautiful lunch on the lotus leaf. We have all kinds of different things here, so all served on a bed of rice, of course. So this one here is called mung mas. It's made with mung beans. This is cassava with coconut. This is a sweet potato roti, pounded cassava leaves, curried gourd, coconut sambal. We've got a fried chili here, and then a lake fish that's been deep fried, and wow, that is so colorful and beautiful. So let's dig in. All right, I'm gonna try a little bit of this, break it up. It's almost like meat, they told me, and eat it with some rice, of course. It is like meat-like in texture. And a little bit spicy too. This is like a total mix and match. You can grab a little bit of everything and it's all just goes so well with the rice. So I've got some cassava and some gourd with rice. That was good. Super crisp still. Try some of this fried fish. Peel a little bit of that off. Oh, the rice is super good too. It's a short grain rice. Super fresh. It's the end of the harvest season now, so they've started replanting. Everything is super delicious, but I really love this coconut sambal. And this style of meal here, the way that the women bring it out to the men that have been working in the paddy fields, is called ambula. So it's no specific recipe, but just the style where the women have cooked the meal and bring it out to the men who've been working in the sun all day. And wow, this is delicious. So our first stop of the day is at this local's home here in the mountains. It's beautiful, and she's preparing agala, which is a traditional Sri Lankan rice ball. So usually the farmers, paddy farmers, would carry them around with them and have them with a little bit of black tea as a kind of midday snack. She's gonna be preparing one with jackfruit seeds. So she's roasting the seeds on a wood fire, and we're gonna taste a couple different flavors, but right now she's preparing this one, and that's a really unique ingredient, so I'm interested in trying it out. So after she's finished roasting the jack seeds, she is removing the outer layer, and now they've become soft, got that smoky flavor, and they'll be ready to eat because you cannot eat these raw. So she's prepping a couple other ingredients. She grinded a coconut to get all of that meat out, and then she's also got some jaggery, which she's mixed with a little bit of water, and then she's heating it up. And then she put the jack seeds with the little bit of black pepper, and she's gonna mix that up with a mortar and pestle, and then that's actually gonna be kind of like the substitute for the rice to hold this all together, the agala. So she took all of that jackfruit mixture with the coconut and the pepper, and then she used a little bit of that jaggery water to bind it all together, and then just uses her hand to form it into a ball. So it's going to be like a sweet treat, and usually they're known as Sri Lankan rice balls, but this one's actually not using rice, but they have a couple other kinds for us to try as well. So let's go taste them. So we've come out to the beautiful countryside here in Sri Lanka. We've got all these different types of agala. There's got to be at least 10, I think 11 kinds, and they're all using different ingredients. So this is kind of like the most classic one right here. This is using the rice flour, and it'll use also the palm sugar. Over here though, the base of this one is popped corns, kind of like popcorn, and then we've got peanuts, and then this is actually the one that we just made, the jack seeds, that has been aged for a little while, so it's a little bit older. This is the fresh jack seed one right here, and then in the middle we've got a semolina based one. This one is using mung beans. This is with sesame, and this one's been deep fried, so coconut in there, deep fried. They're all with coconut. And then this one is the cow pea, and then this one again is also with sesame, but this has been crushed sesame. And this over here is a little bit different. It's called helpa, and it's using a special type of seed, and then they've crushed it up and put it in this leaf here. And there's so many different flavors, I don't even know which one I should try first, so let's dig in. I feel like it's only appropriate to start with the fresh agala that we just made using the jack seeds. So it's very kind of creamy, almost like a mashed potato, and it's got a sweetness to it from the jaggery, and you get the little chunks of nutty tasting jack seeds, and then I just had a pop of black pepper. The black pepper here in Sri Lanka is probably the best in the world. It's really flavorful. It's a nice little sweet treat. Let's try the popcorn one next. I love the little plate that it comes in, and honestly, if you covered this in chocolate, it would look exactly like a Ferrero Rocher. Let's try. Oh, that one's lovely. It tastes like caramel popcorn exactly. It's really light compared to the last one too. The last one was more like I said, a mashed potato, but this one's very airy and fluffy. Very sweet too. Yum. Next up, I'm gonna try this one, which is just the coconut with the palm sugar, and then it's actually been kind of tossed in a wheat flour batter and then deep fried. So let's give this one a try. Well, that one is really sweet. It's definitely had some of the oil kind of soak into it. It's very saturated compared to the other ones. It's more wet feeling, but it has a similar flavor of coconut and sweetness. These are all really sweet and delicious. I kind of wasn't picturing it as a sweet treat before I tried it, but definitely it is. So this one's the more typical classic one, and it's made with rice flour, and whoa, this one feels completely different. It's really hard. Let's try it. Look at that. That one's super dry and crumbly compared to the other ones. It doesn't have as strong a flavor, and it's not as sweet as the others either, but it's really hearty compared to them. I could see that the farmers would just carry a couple of these in their bag and be able to snack on these all day because they are quite filling. So this one is the helpa, and it's completely different shape, and it's covered in this leaf here. So it's made with a type of millet, and they actually steam it with the coconut and the palm sugar. Let's try. Oh yeah, this one is much lighter in flavor, not nearly as much sweetness as the others, and it's got like a dense bread, almost like a pole roti type texture, and it's very smooth on the outside. So I'm actually being served a type of herbal tea here, so it's hot and I'm getting it right in the coconut, and this comes long before the black tea of the British colonial era. This is using more traditional herbs, and oh, do I put it inside?
No.
No, just eat it with it. Okay.
Bite and then
okay. So also a little piece of
step.
jaggery here to add a little bit of sweetness. So take a little bite. Like this. Yum. Oh, it's very light in flavor. Maybe slightly bitter, but it's not like a black tea at all. It's completely different. Very traditional, and it goes very well with the agala. Finished off with the agala. Definitely have a little bit of a sugar rush right now, so we're gonna go for a hike even deeper into the mountain range here, and we're gonna be having lunch in a little bit, but let's just take in the views. It's absolutely beautiful here. This is a beautiful hike. We've even seen the ingredients that we just used to make that agala. We saw the black pepper growing on the vine, and then we saw the jackfruit tree. So they're all within the vicinity. We even spotted some wild monkeys, which is really cool. And this area is really famous for their rice terraces. Apparently this is the second largest rice terrace area in Asia. And just look at this. We're kind of scaling alongside one of them here. So not an easy thing to do while vlogging. Because if I fall in there, I'm going fully in the mud. We have made it to the house that we're having lunch at today, and it's in such a beautiful setting. The house is made of just mud and wood, and they have a little garden here with tons of little things growing. I see some eggplants, some peppers. They've even got their own little rice terraces, and there's a river or a small stream that's just below us. It's such a peaceful setting, and this is where we're going to be having lunch this afternoon. They're going to be cooking us a very traditional Sri Lankan dish in this little village called Oya in the central mountain range of Sri Lanka. The first dish that she's preparing for us today is a lake fish curry. So using a freshwater fish and using lots of different spices to make a curry. So she uses some actual real cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, chili powder, lots of different spices, and lots of fresh ingredients too, including garlic, onions, green chilies. I think it's gonna be spicy and delicious. So this is only the first dish of many today. So once that oil is hot enough, she drops in a couple of cloves of garlic, some mustard seeds, and then the mixture of the freshwater lake fish with all of those spices. And then she's gonna let that stew away and make a really rich flavored curry. The next dish is a salad using kottu, which is a traditional herb that's often used here in Sri Lanka. She also added some onions, tomato, some lime juice, and also some grated coconut. And then she just went out to the back garden just a few steps away to pick some green chilies that she's also going to add into the salad. We're going to eat the curry and the salad with some rice and a couple other things, but what we need is a banana leaf because we're going to wrap it all up together and allow all of that juice, all of that curry to marinate together and soak into the rice. So we're gonna go grab the banana leaf off the tree now. So we grabbed the banana leaf right off the tree and then she roasted it slightly to make it stronger for when she wraps it up with the ingredients inside. Then she started loading it up. So she put first rice and then a taro curry and then a salad of banana blossom and then a young jackfruit curry, the gotu salad that we made, and then finally the freshwater fish curry. And like I said earlier, we're going to let that marinate, let all of those flavors soak into the rice for a little bit, and wow, it looks and smells delicious. So beautiful here. We've left this for probably 10 minutes or so and I'm gonna open it up. So I'll unwrap it. It's like a Christmas morning. Look at this, beautiful. All natural, of course, no plastics, none of that stuff. And look at that, wow. So it's all completely blended in together. These are some crispy crackers that are a little bit soggy now, but we've got all the different things, the jackfruit, the fish, the taro, the salads, and the rice. That looks incredible, and what a setting to have lunch in too. Let's try. So the nice thing about this is you can just mix and match everything, but I am gonna go specifically for some of the fish, take out some of those bones, and get some of the rice and whatever else I grab. Let's try. Oh no. Super, super soft fish. And then the rice has soaked up all the flavors just like we wanted it to. And you can taste that mustard seed. When it mixed with the oil, it really becomes fragrant. Garlic, a little bit spicy, but actually not too bad. And I really gotta go in for this. This is one of my favorite things in the entire world. Jackfruit, young jackfruit. When you cook it like a curry like this, it's almost just like beef. Oh man, it's so beautifully tender. It's got the flavor of the curry, but it's got the texture of almost a pulled pork or a pulled beef. It's very meaty. You could definitely live off of jackfruit if you're a vegan and you crave that that meat texture, because it's identical. The flavors though, just all blending in so well. This is a really interesting one, the banana blossom, which I've had before in Indonesia, but never in Sri Lanka. It's a little bit bitter. It's still crisp, has that crunch. We are eating it raw, so there's some raw ingredients and some cooked ingredients in here. Everything kind of blends together. It's hard to distinguish between the flavors. It all kind of just tastes like this beautiful Sri Lankan village curry. So after quite a bumpy ride, we are deep in the Knuckles mountain range in the central highlands of Sri Lanka, and we're staying tonight at a place called Wild Glamping Knuckles. This is by Theme Resorts. It's super beautiful, and we have incredible views, of course, over the mountains, and these tents are really cool. They're not really like tents. It's more of like a glamping luxury tent. So let me give you a little quick tour inside, actually. So it's kind of a half wooden, half tent structure with I think it's a metal roof, and we've got a nice queen size bed in here, and there's even a full bathroom as well with a shower. So they just turn a generator on at nighttime and in the morning. It's really all you need, but the best part about it is certainly the views outside. Board this small plane here. It's gonna be about an hour flight. Should be pretty scenic along the way. I'm with Chaminda. Hey. And Mink in the back here. All right, let's go to Jaffna. Up the west coast of Sri Lanka. We're somewhere around here right now, and we're going to go over top of Pattah National Park, the biggest national park in Sri Lanka, make our way up to Jaffna. Alright, welcome to Jaffna. That was just about an hour ride, very smooth. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for flying with us.
That was a charter flight from Colombo, just 1 hour on Cinnamon Air, very scenic, very smooth, and welcome to Jaffna. Okay, so you pour it Pour it in there, and then pour it back. Oh. Again? No, no. Oh, and then drink like that. Oh, because this one's too hot.
Oh, too hot and this one came.
Okay. This is my second time actually to the city of Jaffna here, situated at the very tip northern point of Sri Lanka, and we popped into a legendary place here in Jaffna called the Malayan Cafe. We're just having a quick cup of tea before we start the real reason we've come to Jaffna. So this trip to Sri Lanka, we're going to be learning all about the culture and the food and the life of the fishermen here in Sri Lanka. So today we're going to be experiencing how they do it in the north. So the north of Sri Lanka is distinctly different than the south of Sri Lanka. The people here in the north are Tamil. Their language is Tamil. So it's different than the south where the predominant language is Sinhalese. The culture is different, the food's different. So we're going to be catching and cooking some seafood, Jaffna style, Tamil style. We're going to be then later on our trip in Sri Lanka heading south, stopping in the center of Sri Lanka in the Sigiriya area, seeing how they do things differently there, and then finally in the southern coast of Sri Lanka to see how they are preparing it there in the south, all with their distinct flavors and tastes. Just starting our trip here with a beautiful cup of tea, and it's kind of interesting how they do it. They actually pour the tea into this little cup because this one's hot, and then I guess you just sip it out of here. So the first step to cooking any seafood here is to go catch some seafood. So we've come down to the coast, the beautiful turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean in front of us, and we're going to jump in this boat right here, take it out to this little weir that they've got a net out there that has some crabs in it, hopefully, and we're gonna dive down to get those crabs to cook up a traditional Jaffna style dish. Let's go. In order to get out to the net, we're going to take that red motorized boat, the bigger boat, and then to enter into the net, because that one's too big to go inside, we have to get onto this much smaller traditional Sri Lankan catamaran, and it's basically 3 tree trunks that they've shaved down. They're just tying it together right now with some rope. Very simple style, very traditional. They don't really do it like this anymore, but in order to get inside of the net, we can't use a motorized boat, so we're gonna have to get on this thing. So we're not too far offshore, I don't know, maybe just like 300 meters offshore, and I'm gonna transfer onto the small wooden catamaran now. We just anchored up here on the red boat, and let's get in the water and dive, get some crabs. Okay, they just pulled up the net that they circled around the weir, and a couple small fish. I think they have to dive down for the crab, so I'm gonna give the GoPro over to one of these more professional guys. Thank you. All right. That was pretty hectic. I don't know how they managed, but they ended up getting some crabs. The visibility is pretty terrible in there, but these guys are pros, so we're eating. That's all that matters. Juicy. Small and squeaky. All right, we didn't come back empty-handed, luckily. That was hectic, to say the least, trying to film in the wavy water on that tiny little floating raft, but these guys are pros. They've certainly done this before, and we're going to be preparing a Jaffna specialty with all the seafood we just got. It's called cool soup. It's the must-try dish here in Jaffna. Before we start cooking the cool, we are having a little bit of a barbecue, fresh barbecue with some of the crabs and fish that we just caught. They just put it on the charcoal. And then this guy here's got something interesting. This is the palmyra tree root. Okay, so you peel it first. And then you can eat the inside? Okay, let's try. So this is the palmyra tree. It's a palm tree that's very popular. It pretty much dominates the landscape here in Jaffna. This is the root of the baby young palmyra tree. It's like a starchy potato almost. Little snack. Good.
Barbecue fish.
Just here. So the barbecue of all the crabs and fresh seafood that we just caught is finished cooking. Here's the final result. We've got a couple crabs, a couple fish, and then this is the palmyra root that I was just eating, and this is kind of unique. I've never heard of this before. This is a salad made of that same root, that palmyra root, and then mixed with some onions, some spices and whatnot. But let's try to break open one of these crabs here, have a little snack. I am starving after being out on the boat and trying to catch it. It's hard work. Those guys really work hard. Oh, let me try to break this shell back. There we go. Quite a bit of meat on there. Surprising small little crab, but oh my gosh. Wow. The natural flavor, really sweet, and that ocean kind of saltiness. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of flavor packed in there, even though there was no spices added. Man, that crab is so sweet. And then with the sound of the waves in the background, I think it makes it taste even better. Okay, let's try this unique palmyra salad. Oh, it's really sticky. You see some onions in there and all the fibers. Yum. And this is like super healthy, full of vitamins, nutrients, fiber. This is just a snack before we cook the main course, but let's have a drink before we go start cooking that cool soup. Thank you so much. So this is Toddy, which is made from the same thing as that root over there, that palmyra plant. Thank you so much. Yeah. You drink like this? Yep. Yeah, okay. So this is an alcoholic drink. It's fermented. We filmed a whole video about it the last time I was in Jaffna. They climb up the tree, they extract the sap that they cut from the top of the tree, and then it kind of drips, and then ferments up there, and then you're left with this beautiful toddy, which is famous here in Sri Lanka, especially in Jaffna. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a fermented, but it's sweet. Yum. It's delicious. It's really good. It's how much alcohol? Maybe like 5%? 5%, yeah. So it's like a light beer. Drinking it, right? This is the palmyra leaf too, right? Everything palmyra here in Jaffna. Okay. So the cool soup is kind of like a seafood stew. You can pretty much put anything from the ocean into the cool. So we've got a bunch of crabs and some fish. This lady right here is scaling and cleaning the fish, and she's got this specialized knife that she actually holds with her foot to do the descaling and cleaning of the fish. It looks like mackerel, and luckily for us, because we only caught about 5 or 6 crabs and we just cooked them up to eat them, we also bought some extra crabs to have with our cool soup. So for veggies, we're putting some long green beans into the soup, and then for our starch, we've got cassava, so he's just peeling back the cassava now. So the green beans, the cassava, and the crabs and the fish all go into the pot of boiling water, and in the meantime, while that's boiling away, we also have another snack cooking. It's a variety of banana or plantain called ash plantain, and he just put a little bit of salt, a little bit of chili powder, and then fries it up real quickly into a little plantain chip. So let's try those out while we wait for the cool. So we got a big pot of the cool soup cooking away, and in the meantime I've got the little plantain chips with a little bit of chili and salt. Oh, those are awesome. Super crispy, a little bit sweet, and then of course with the salt and the chili. But this is gonna be the main highlight. Check this out. Just packed full of seafood, and then he's gonna add in the rice, and of course all the beans and cassava. Give that a mix. Oh man, that is so good looking. So many crabs in there, and these are awesome, super tasty. So we just added in the key ingredient, the spice mixture. So the spice mixture is also containing the palmyra root starch, so that gives it this super thick texture. You can see there's also some tamarind in there to give it a little bit of a sourness. All of those crabs and that fish and the veggies, and now it's just completely exploded with color and flavor and scent. It just smells incredible, and this is gonna cook down for quite a while now, and we'll come back and taste it. Oh man, I am hungry. That looks so good. I just realized that I haven't given Shaminda a proper introduction from the Sri Lankan Tourism Board. Every single time I come here, this is the guy that's helping me make awesome videos.
This is Sri Lanka, guys.
Yeah, this is Sri Lanka. You'll come back again because there's so much to see.
There are a million reasons to visit Sri Lanka.
Yeah. So the cool soup is finished cooking away. It's got that thick texture now, you can see from that palmyra root starch. And one thing I love about Sri Lanka is you won't see plastic anywhere here. Served right in the palmyra leaf, and they don't cheat with the staple either, like some countries like to serve things in a leaf but then they staple it together. No, this one's actually tied perfectly up with some more of the palm leaf. And yeah, this is the moment I've been waiting for, so let's taste it out. Ooh yeah, that's got a kick. Definitely a little bit spicy, thick and creamy. You get little pieces of fish in there. There's also the bones and the shells of the crab in there, so you gotta kind of watch it, but it gives it a little bit extra flavor. And then pieces of the cooked rice as well that they put in there. Yeah, that is rich and hearty. Yeah, that's got a ton of flavor and definitely a little bit spicy. Apparently it goes good with a bite of coconut after to sort of cool the spice down. Yeah, yum. Oh, it's actually super delicious. I love how thick it is from that starch. It's more of a stew really than a soup. Do you eat it with your fingers? There's pieces of cassava in there as well. Ooh, it's hot. Let me go in there with my fingers. Oh gosh, burn myself. There we go. Really kind of gooey, starchy cassava. Man, that is really phenomenal. Let's try to get a piece of fish here. Oh yeah. Yum. Don't be worried. We didn't cook that whole pot of cool for ourselves. We have lots of people here to help us eat.
Hey, hi.
How is it?
Very good, man.
Good?
Superb.
It's amazing. This is really fresh. Spiciness this is amazing. Only you can experience this in Jaffna. Visit Jaffna.
You can't eat this in Colombo, can you?
You can, but then again, it won't be like having it in Jaffna.
Right?
Authentic,
Yeah. You got to go to a Jaffna restaurant if you want it in Colombo. Okay.
Yeah.
I taste the spice, and the fish is really, really good. And I'm going to taste this with this coconut. Yeah.
Everything always tastes better when you put in some effort to get the fresh seafood yourself. I mean, I gotta give up to those fishermen for doing the real work, but yeah, so much more fresh, so much flavor in that fish. Yum. What does it remind you of?
Well, it actually reminds me of one Thai food we call gangsom. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Like, what is it like?
Well, it looks like this.
Yeah, it looks like this.
And it tastes
and
sort of
like they put fish and shrimp, and it has a little bit of spice, which I really like it. This is really cool. They put it in this
little palm boat.
Yeah.
Is it
so
spicier
cool.
than gangsom? Less
No,
spicy.
I think same.
What an experience that was to see them catch the fresh seafood and then having it on our, well, not our plate, but our palm leaf. So flavorful too. Sri Lankan food is just incredibly delicious and rich. Just so much spice and flavor going on in there. So we're nice and full, but I think we got room for dessert. So we're going to leave the beautiful coast of Jaffna, northern Sri Lanka, head back to Jaffna city and have some ice cream. A1 Raja Cream House. Since 1973, this is the ice cream spot. There's another really famous place here in Jaffna that I tried last time called Rio. We decided to try something different. These guys have been around since 1973. We value your frozen cravings. That's their slogan. I like it. And I got the normal chocolate because I'm boring. Oh, this is perfect for the end of a hot day. Fishing, cooking near the beach. Oh man, this is good. Really good ice cream, and we've come back to our hotel. This hotel is the Jetwing Mahesha Bhawan. It's a beautiful boutique hotel. There's only 4 rooms. It's an old building that they restored, a colonial architecture building right in the center of Jaffna, and they've got this sweet swimming pool right here, and well, there's only 4 rooms and we've occupied 2 of them, so there's absolutely nobody here. So let's jump in for a swim. Woo. This is an ancient art form of collecting the sap from the Palmyra toddy tree. So they're making a drink called toddy, which they actually ferment and it turns slightly alcoholic. They're collecting the sap in these kind of large bowls. They hang the bowls up in the tree after cutting the palm leaves and then let the sap collect in the bottom of the big bowl. And you can see him behind me up here. Look at that. Pretty dangerous, and these guys actually make good money compared to the local Sri Lankans because it's a short season, it's dangerous work, and man, that is just such a cool technique to go up there and get that sap. So we're actually going to give the toddy tapper here a camera in order to take up the tree with him, and we'll see what footage he gets. So hopefully we'll get a nice bird's eye view. So it's actually time to try the fresh toddy from the tree now. So here we have a glass of the toddy. This is fresh, but as I mentioned earlier, they will ferment it for about 2 to 3 hours and it will become around 5% alcohol. And after 8 hours, it'll actually start to turn to vinegar. So it's a very short window you have in order to try it. Right now, it's only going to be about maybe 0.5% alcohol. And that's just from the natural yeast in the air. So you still have to wait 2 to 3 more hours until you have the actual alcoholic toddy drink. So let me try this. Oh, it smells really good. Oh man, wow, and it's like almost carbonated. It's got a little bit of fizziness to it. It's sweet. Sweet, sour. You can definitely tell how this would turn into vinegar after a while. You can feel the acidity. Wow, that's actually really good, and apparently medicinal properties as well, so it's good for you.